we're back with Unforgettable Conversations. Today we have the one, the only, Daniel Ruchman.
Ruchman!
Hey everybody, I'm Ruchman.
How you doing, Daniel?
Dude, I'm good.
Thank you for joining us. And we also have Santiago back on the podcast, which is awesome to have.
Good to be back. You forgot to throw the sergeant in front of that.
Yes, sorry. Whoa. Sorry, let me start this over. Today we have
literally this month.
Sergeant.
I just hit my 1 year as a sergeant, so
nice.
Very excited.
Congratulations. How does it feel?
Being back home or in what in general? Just being a sergeant now?
The sergeant part, like being able to say like you've done it for a year.
You know, it's crazy. Like in the reserves, being a sergeant is like not a big deal. It's like, hey, you do your time in service, you know, you do the right things, you'll get promoted to sergeant. But active duty, when you're actually deployed, it means something. It's like leading teams, actually being in charge of your welfare for your soldiers, living that sort of life. Now it means something. Now I'm like, okay, I'm actually doing this job. And it's 10 times more than I thought it would ever be. But once you actually hone in on it and you're good at it, you develop your skill set, dude, now you feel that title sergeant. Now you're like, okay, I'm proud of that. I love it when they call me that. And it feels right. Some people let the title get to their head. It's literally in the creed. It says, don't do that.
Well, let's dive into it. I want to kind of go through like a little timeline of how you got from where you are currently to where you were before and the whole process. So let's start a little bit before the military in the first place.
Yeah.
So I'd say in the first place, what motivated you to even join the military?
Yeah, there were a number of different factors. I was 26 when I enlisted, right? At the time, I was looking into getting into law enforcement. I was like, okay, I'm looking, you know, I applied for the sheriffs. I applied for LAPD. I actually had a conditional offer from LAPD if I wanted to go into academy and stuff. And I still was kind of lost in direction, right? Before I was a college counselor. So I loved like already that sort of aspect of mentoring students, being able to help them out, get enrolled. And people are always like, hey, you should be in something where you're like mentoring someone, like moving up in leadership and stuff like that. And this is already after I'd graduated college. So like if we're going way back in time, right, 2018, I graduated UC San Diego. And I had my degree and I'm like, okay, I did criminology. So I'm like, I was already in that realm. I was already kind of going, I was already going down there, but I never was like, nah, I'm going to be a cop. Like, no, maybe I should do military. It was always in the back of my head. I've gone to recruiting stations like when I was 18. I was looking into it and I'm like, in the Marine, this is at the Marines. Like the Marines were like trying to pull me in originally. They were like, bro, it's one of the most badass fraternities you'll ever join. Like they're using all the old school recruiting tactics.
Proud, the Marines.
Like this is back in 2014 and they're giving me a t-shirt. They're like, what does that shirt say, bro? And I'm like, it says the few the proud. They're like, are you going to be the few the proud? Like, are you going to join us? And I'm like, oh, like it was so weird back then. That was like all you needed. No bonuses, nothing, no research prior. And you're like, oh, Marine Corps. I remember bringing home my flyer and I showed my dad. I'm like, he goes, hey son, what's that? And like my dad at that time was like, we weren't that close. I was this adolescent, right? I was going out, I was doing partying, I was doing all that stuff. So my dad saw me, he was always like, kind of like giving me that look, like, what do you do now? And I had this pamphlet for the Marine Corps, and he was like, he's like, are you kidding me? He goes, you're gonna go to college first. He goes, let me see that pamphlet. He takes it, rips it in front of me, and he goes, if you join the military, you need to be an officer. Like you need to be in a position where you go to college first, and then you can do whatever you want. He goes, but the last thing I need is a call, and my son's in a casket, and I have to go to your funeral and stuff. He's like, that's just not happening. And I'm like, okay, Dad. Like I listened to my dad. I took his advice, went to college, went that route instead. But I still had that feeling like, you know, that would have been a great route. I like looking back in time, if I was like really knew what I was doing, I would have done ROTC. I would have commissioned. I would have gone that route. But I didn't know any of that knowledge back then. There's so much you figure out as you're going down the pipeline, as you're in the military, and you're like, wow, that path would have been great. But I probably took the harder path, going enlisted and then now trying to go officer. But you know, you can't change anything, and it probably develops you in like, I wouldn't change anything for the better. Because of the development, but like there is an easier path. Like there could have been a much easier path back then. I'm getting off track here, but basically, no, didn't go in at 18. Ended up going back 26. Kind of looking for. I was already working a lot at the time, putting a lot of hours in, and I'm like, I was just getting bored. I remember looking out my window. I had my own office and everything, and I was just like, there has to be more. There has to be something I can do more. I need to challenge myself. I love working out. I hadn't done any marathons at this point, so I haven't really super challenged myself yet. I haven't had that adversity yet, but I was athletic. I was always pretty built, and I'm like, let me do something to challenge myself. And I'm like, let me just go inquire at the minimum. Let me go, go in and really dive in and see what they can do for me.
Right.
So I go into recruiting station, Thousand Oaks, and the guy's like, my recruiter is just so laid back. Bynum, he was a staff sergeant, this cool black guy, just like, in a way, he was just like basically talking shit about the Army the entire time. And he was just like, all right, man, here's what you need to do. Here's how you can milk the Army for most of their benefits and everything. And he's like, you're going to be chilling, dude. He goes, let's get you a huge bonus. He goes, you're not just some kid. So I think recruiters cater to who they're talking to.
Right.
They're like, okay, this guy is obviously older, he has a degree. I have to hit on points. He probably has like a spreadsheet of like, okay, things to talk about. He's like, they like money. They want to talk about student loan repayment,
right?
Where they're at in life and stuff. And then he goes, and he, probably career-wise moving up and stuff. So he nailed all those points. Like this guy executed everything. Give this guy an award. He goes, all right, man, I found a great contract for you. You're going to do military police. You're going to be in the reserves. You're going to do 6 years. And I'm like, 6 years. I was like ready to walk out the office right there. And he goes, hold on, come here. He's like, $50K sign-on bonus. Or no, my bad. $50K student loan repayment, so your student loans get paid off. $20K sign-on bonus. And you just go to the weekends. He goes, you'll probably never deploy. And I'm like, I never even have to deploy. Like, I'm just going to do reserves and never deploy and then just be like a weekend warrior. And I still get the title soldier. And he goes, yeah, is that what you want? And I'm like, well, it's crazy. Like, how could they give you all these benefits? There has to be a catch, right? And he goes, no, there's no catch, man. Just sign right here.
Sign on the dotted line.
And then he goes, and also you get secret clearance. Like, that might be good for you. And I'm like, oh. And I have no idea what clearances are. I had, like, that's why Sarah's cousin, David, right? Or your cousin, too. I was telling him, like, dude, you need something with top secret clearance. If I had any advice for you, man, and you're going to go enlist, you're not going to go to college, you're not going to do that route first, get something with top secret clearance. And he took my advice. He had already signed a contract. It wasn't official yet because he didn't go to MEPS yet.
Oh, okay.
And I told him, like, dude, if there's options, look into your options. Top secret clearance, go in Intel and get yourself something with top, I'm telling you, like, after military's done, you do a 3-year contract, whatever it is, you'll get out, you'll have your full GI Bill, you'll be able to use those benefits and work. And top secret clearance, you get jobs that pay minimum starting $50 an hour. And I will literally, like, take your hand and put you in my company right now. If I had that, like, I had an interview recently. If I had the top secret clearance, like, yeah, that job would have been mine. I wouldn't have to be putting in 60 hours. So it's like my one regret, but it is attainable still. You can still, like, I could still do a transfer and get a job with top secret clearance, and they would give it to me, and, like, they would expedite it in like 3 months.
So there's a big benefit from, like, not having the top secret clearance to actually having the secret clearance. It's a big, even pay wise, it's beneficial.
Yeah, like secret clearance to, like, to like break it down, every 10 years you get to renew your secret clearance. So it's like very entry level. Like you're looking at documents, you're looking at, like, I'll tell you from my military police standpoint, you're looking at people's IDs, you're looking at people's information and stuff, their addresses and stuff. This is confidential, right? This is some information that we don't want the general public seeing. So it's going to be secret clearance level. When you start to really nosedive into, national security, intelligence and stuff like that, where we need to know this person can be trusted, we need to know they're not, counterterrorism or someone from a different foreign country or something where they can be sharing this information, and people would pay top dollar to get this information too. Now, obviously, people have been arrested in the past for that. People have been persecuted, but it's you need to really know, hey, this person is on our side of history. So
Gotcha.
they do a lot of screening for top secret. You do a polygraph, you do all that stuff too. It's like you're about to go to a police academy or something.
Gotcha.
I was gonna say,
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good. Out of curiosity, with your upbringing, because you said you were pursuing, you got a degree in criminology, but then you said you were looking into law enforcement. What initially got you on that path? Like, what made you want to pursue those things?
I grew up watching Law and Order. I loved all that stuff. I love those shows. I did a Disney internship, right? And they had you do this like my colors or it was this basically like your personality analysis and then like your career analysis. And I took that, I remember, and said your top 4 careers that you should pursue and stuff. And number 1 came up with military. I was like, oh, well, that's interesting. Number 2 came up with as a lawyer, as an attorney.
Okay.
And then 3 was law enforcement, and then 4 was college counselor. So I'm like, okay, I already checked 1 box, right? And then obviously now I've checked my top box. So it's like law school was already on the table. So I was actually like, so criminology, right? It was under the pre-law majors at San Diego. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm going to do what every frat boy does. Like, you go to college and then you tell everyone you're going to go be a lawyer and stuff. And like, I actually like believed that. I remember at first it was like a facade. I was just telling people at parties, I'm like, oh, that sounds really good. I'm going to be a lawyer. Like, yeah, okay, I have to, I'm pre-law. I'm going to go take the LSTAT. And I actually inquired about all that stuff.
Nice.
One of my last classes in college was law and culture. And literally, they go over the ROI, right? Your return on investment for going to law school. It's like you're going to pull out $300,000, $400,000 in student loans, right? $50K ain't that student loan repayment. That's not going to do anything. And you're going out on a limb that you're going to pass the bar. The pass rate, I don't know the statistics. I'm not going to give false stats out there, but passing the bar the first time around is so hard. And every time to retake it comes with a cost. It's like, I think it's like what, $5,000 to retake it every time.
Every single time.
And then you're just studying for like what, 6 months straight.
Yep.
Yeah. So
That's wild.
anybody who's become a lawyer in California will tell you like the process is not easy. It's like, and that's what intimidates a lot of students going into law school. And then if you're not at a top law school, it doesn't mean, you won't pass the bar, but they have statistics that back that up too. If you don't graduate from a top law school, you're not going to be prepared to take the bar, right? And then they'll show the pass rate from alumni and stuff, and the stats start staggering down. So if you go to like a lower law school, and it might not even be that bad, it could be like Pepperdine or something, and they're going to show stats where it's like, well, you go to your Yale or Harvard schools here, it's like the pass rate's much higher. But then you go to, I don't know how they rank the law schools and stuff, but a lower law school, right? Not one of your elite ones. It's like the pass rate decreases dramatically. So,
Dang,
So would you say that kind of made you pivot a bit and focus more so on the military, or kind of, dip your toes into looking into what the military had to offer?
Yeah, definitely. It's like, it makes you go back to want to do like blue collar kind of labor, because you're like, you get paid immediately. You're going to learn a skill set. You're going to develop yourself now instead of investing in yourself and spending money to go through schooling and stuff. It makes you think college is a scam to some degree, right? Where you're like, you're paying somebody to learn the skill set. Whereas like if you're doing some blue collar military, right? Police, fire, they are training you to do a job. They're paying you to do a job. It's like that level of appreciation's there too.
Right.
Well, and I think it's kind of fascinating that you hit on that point, because if you look at all of us in this room, I mean, obviously you have a college education, but we've all have a blue collar background. Like and like I'm in construction, you're in construction, you've done the military, and we're all doing pretty decent for ourselves.
Right. I think you get a jump start in your career. It's whereas like the progression, and I think people do well, right? Regardless, it's just like delayed gratification. Right. You start later in life, then you start to get it. It's like, but then you see people who like, wait a second, their 401ks are this high already. How'd you do that? It's like, well, I started early. I started at 20. Started contributing then, and it's like they have properties before everybody else. All my friends, personally, the ones who have houses, did the military. They use their VA home loan to get their houses and stuff.
So how would you weigh, book knowledge versus practical experience? What's your take on that?
I think both. I think both is super important. And I think the book knowledge, right? It's how you articulate yourself. You have your vocabulary. You can, you have that knowledge background there. I think people trust that. I think they're like, hey, that guy seems like he'd be a good leader.
He's got a degree too.
Yeah, and there's credibility to some stuff, right? People are like, I don't want to listen to him because he doesn't have his credibility there. Charlie Kirk, right? He didn't have a degree, and everyone's like, oh, they try to hit on him and stuff. Incredibly intelligent. His IQ was out, you know.
Oh, he was so articulate
too,
you know,
right?
like,
And he would say, like, I read 4 books or whatever. It was like 10 books or something a month, new books and everything. He's like, just read, keep getting that knowledge and stuff, and that develops your vocabulary. So I wish I knew that way back then, right? I would have never done college. I would have been like, no, I'm good. Let me go kind of the Charlie Kirk route and articulate myself, sound really intelligent, develop yourself. There's a lot of discipline to that. But if I learned that earlier, you know, a lot of shortcuts there. Now, I'm very gifted because I had, and blessed in the sense of I had that student loan repayment. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I don't have to worry about that. I have guys who are totally worried about that. They're paying that extra $500 a month or something, and they're like, dude, like, I feel like I'm stuck. It like keeps you stuck down there too.
Right. And then you could possibly accrue interest on that too, right?
Yeah. No, he has interest on it too, and I don't know. Then you start to kind of get into like tough negotiations. Like I remember, like, I'm not gonna name drop him, but like his dad's like, oh man, I'll help you pay off your student loans and stuff like that. Well, he just bought another house. Now he's not only helping his dad pay for his house, he's also paying his own student loans. So like false promises and stuff. But it's like, don't even be in that situation. It's like, just avoid all that together.
well, and something else I think that's interesting, because I think like we grew up in a time frame where it was still a big deal, right? Like, get your bachelor degree, But nowadays, like, I don't even think that's sufficient, because college is the norm now. Like, college is the thing. Like, you know, like back when we were younger, there were other routes. And I'm not saying there's not other routes available still now, but like, I think the market's so saturated. It's like saturated. A BA doesn't, or a BS doesn't get you anywhere anymore. Like, now you need, like, all my friends that, pursued higher education and are trying to excel in their careers, like, they're getting masters, they're getting doctorates, like, just to, you know, set themselves apart. So I feel like it's weird, you know.
It's almost like they're moving the goalposts slowly further. It's like, before it was like, just go to college and get your degree. It's like, now it's like a specific college. Then it was not, your AA wasn't enough. Now you have to get that bachelor's. Then it was the master's, and now it's like,
well, and that's like,
you hear that all the time. Like, people are like, I'm thinking of going back to school. And it's like, for what? For your master's? It's like, yeah, because I can't either get a specific job. Honestly, school would be perfect if they did it like the way that they do it with like any like trade job,
right?
Where they pay you as they train.
You get an internship or something in your career, so you're already getting the practical experience.
Imagine you were a lawyer, and then you were working as a lawyer. But also going to school. So it's like, you get a loan that's $400,000 for a really good school, but at least you're paying it off while you're working.
And you know what? In the military, they actually offer that, like, JAG officer, right? So now it makes more sense. Now people like will become a medical doctor, right? And they'll go through the Army. And here's the deal, though. You sign a contract kind of almost with the devil, but then you have to serve. It's like 10 years minimum, but they pay all your student loans, and they're paying you, and you go in as like a captain.
But that's huge. I mean, you think about it, like, as a doctor, you're probably getting 8 years minimum of schooling. So it's like you're committing essentially to serve while you're getting your education, you know? Like,
and it's a different aspect of serving too, where it's like you're working as a medical doctor. You know, you're getting your field experience too. I would say the medical route is great. A lot of JAG officers, the ones who are lawyers in the Army, totally different laws and procedures.
Right.
So then when you get into the civilian sector, and for that state, that municipal state, right, like, it's completely different. So their experience doesn't really articulate over, but you come out with free law school. So there's benefits there, and then you actually have some salary saved up too.
Yeah, it's wild. Let's talk a little bit about MEPS, because I feel like that would be the next step going further.
So basically I signed, then MEPS was like the next step. They're like, okay, you're going to go to El Segundo. There's a hotel out there and stuff. So I'm thinking, like, Army's pretty cool at this point.
Can you explain what MEPS is? Because I feel like a lot of, like, I might know it, but I feel like a lot of people don't know what MEPS is.
Yeah, so MEPS is your last station. They're going to do your medical screening. They're going to do, I mean, everyone cries at MEPS. Like, it's like, that is like the rite of passage. You have to go there. You don't sleep at all. You're there for like 24 hours, and they do, like, everybody's just having an awful time. They put you, I had one roommate, so I know I've just heard horror stories of guys like who were back in like 2014, like guys I went out of high school with and stuff, and they had completely different stories at MEPS. I felt like my experience was pretty good. They had just renovated the hotel. It was nice. It was like this 5-star Hilton out in El Segundo, and you stay there overnight. You go in, you wake up early. It's like 6 o'clock. You check in. They give you breakfast and everything, and you have to go do all the medical screenings. You have to sign your contract, but the funny part is they have you sign the contract at the end of the day, so you're like exhausted. You're not even thinking in the right state of mind. You're just like, yeah, just give me that. Yeah, I'll sign it right now and stuff. But they don't really want that wiggle room for you to negotiate, so you have to really know your stuff before you go in there, and then you do your oath of enlistment at the end. From my experience, you're just waiting. Like you're waiting. Like hurry up and wait. You're just sitting there in a chair, and then you'll go to another station. You take your test too, so your placement test to score what job you're eligible for.
Gotcha.
Usually they'll have you do that all on the same day, so it's pretty exhausting. So you're there for like you take your 2-hour test, right? Seeing how you score and everything.
ASVAB?
Your ASVAB.
Yeah.
So there's like a pre-ASVAB. They'll have you take that at the recruiting station. Then they have you like, okay, here's how you scored. Let's hope you can do that at MEPS now.
Right.
Exhausted, whatever. So then you'll go over, take it, see where you score and everything, and then they'll have a list of jobs that you can do. And then they'll be like, okay, we're going to run your backgrounds and everything. And then while we're doing that, you're going to go through a medical screening. They're going to have you like do a duck walk. They're going to have you do like, this is where you like do all this annoying stuff too. And some of it can be embarrassing too. Like some people like the duck walk, they have you do that completely naked. Like
really?
When they're doing a medical screening, they're checking everything. Make sure like, hey,
you physically can do the job.
Like, is this guy going to take a disability check day one, or like, can we get some years out of him and stuff? And then also age. Like, age is a factor too. Like, I went at 26, great. Like, I'm still in great shape. Some people are already like damaged goods by 26.
Yeah.
Some people are like damaged by 20. People are already broken. They've had broken arms, whatever. Psychological screening too. If you've had now they can pull your medical records, so it's easy. So like lying used to be notorious. Like everyone used to be like, okay, lie about any drugs you've done, any whatever past. And now they can just pull things from medical records.
Right.
So I remember they did that to me. They're like, hey, so you're allergic to bees and cats and stuff? And I'm like, no. I was like, sir, that's not true. I'm like, I went in there because I thought I was allergic to bees and cats, but I'm not. And I totally am. So I didn't want to get my stuff delayed.
Right.
And the doctor was like screening me and everything. And I'm like, the whole time my recruiter's like, hey, bro, I need you to 100% lie when you go in there, is what he was telling me. He's like, you're not going to like, your contract's going to get delayed. You have this spot for that bonus and stuff. He goes, I trust you. You look like you're going to be a good liar. And I'm like, what?
You have the face of a liar. I believe you.
He's like, you got this, bro. And then he's like, they're going to try to tell you that, hey, there's a penalty. You can have charges. He goes, that's all smoke. He goes, none of that's true. He's like, they're just trying to get you to sign a contract and see that you're eligible. So when they start asking you like crazy questions, like, are you allergic to stuff, whatever, I totally told you to fill out your forms wrong. So that's on me, man. And I'm like, what? Like this whole time he's like, give me the worst information. And it's like all the true certs come out right before you get to MEPS too. This is like recruiter tactic 101. Like, hey, by the way, dude, yeah, you need to lie. Hey, by the way, dude, you're going to sign your contract today. And it's like, wait, you told me we have more time. There's all these lies that start to unfold.
Right.
It's like, it's actually hilarious.
It's like a car salesman.
It is.
He's like, oh, yeah, you'll get the newest model. I mean, well, it's an older model. It's got a couple miles on it, but...
I feel like I did my research. So like when people are like, oh, man, my recruiter screwed me, all this stuff, it's like some people did get screwed. Mm-hmm. Like in the sense of like they signed an infantry contract for 6 years with no bonus or something. And active duty the whole time, and I've heard these stories, and I'm like, wow. But to some degree, like, do your own research.
Right.
You should go with someone that's in the military already. Like, look at David. David's gonna be hooked up now.
Yeah. You helped him out a lot with that, and
I'm happy I can. I'm like, hey, you want to do better for other soldiers, and I think when you get into leadership, that's all you care about. Like, I will eat last, my guys eat first. That you always have that sort of mindset. It's like, if I have to suffer, it's not even a problem.
Right.
It's like, but them doing well and succeeding, it's like, I do well. If I see them succeed based on the efforts I put out there, it's like, that means the world to me. That's what keeps me in. Because a lot of it is not worth it. I can tell you that right now. 95% of the time, I've just been like frustrated when I was deployed and stuff. That 5% is like, yeah, like there's a lot of pride. There's a lot of pride in what we do. You do it for the country, and all that goes into fruition at the end. But like, there's so many points where you're like, dude, this is not worth it. Like, this is tough. This is a hard job. I'm being tested. There's a lot of adversity. It's like, and it happens so quickly too. I have so many examples when I was deployed, but yeah, MEPS to kind of put it in a quick manner is like, they're basically just trying to ship you off as soon as possible. They're gonna have you there for 24 hours, and then after all that medical stuff, like I remember they were like, they do this thing where they like also clean your ears and stuff, whatever, and they pump water into like your ears and stuff. I remember, and like you have water stuck in your head, and you can't hear anybody. Your ears are literally like with water, and then they're like gonna clear out and stuff. So I'm trying to talk to people, and people are literally smirking because I can't hear anybody, and I'm like, is this normal? Like, I literally can't hear you guys. And they're like, okay, man, you're going to sign right here. And I'm like, can I read it? I was like texting on my phone. I was like, can you like text it to me? Cause I can't like hear you guys. And this is where I'm like, this is one of the tactics that they're using.
Yeah.
They're like, they literally are doing stuff to exhaust you. They're messing with you. They're like trying to get you to sign stuff. And originally they were trying to get me to sign a contract with no bonus. And I go, so I kept saying, like, there's no bonus on this contract. They had to do a reprint and add in the 20K sign-on bonus.
Dang. So they could have, like...
Yeah. So, like, Army
really
is, like...
screwed you over.
Yeah, and, like, those are the parts that no one, like... Especially if you've had a good service. You've had a good time on your experience. And for the most part, I have. I came home. I'm not missing any limbs. I was able to, cultivate a great team and manifest that. And... my experience deployed was I think, a great experience, and it really benefited me. I was able to save up a lot of money, and I was really proud of like all the medals and stuff that I earned, and then my team was able to help me acquire and everything. So for me, it was worth it. I can't speak upon other people, and I actually completely understand why people have a terrible experience, because I'm like, I had to come to terms with it on my own, where I'm like, I think it was worth it. Because there's times where I look back and I'm like, yeah, there's like, you're away from your family 9 months. You're, it's there's parts of a deployment that like nobody wants to talk about. There's parts where like, hey, we had missiles flying over us too? Like, there's parts where I'm still on edge from that. There's parts where like I can't even like articulate conversations with my girlfriend today because of that. And it's like, I have to deal with that, and I had to come to terms with that. Like, when I first got back too, there were things that were bothering me, and it's like I had to be able to figure out how to talk to her about that. Okay. And she's like, "What's wrong? Like, just tell me." And like, it is hard to have those conversations sometimes. And then like after being a month back and stuff, you start to rehabilitate. You start to be like, okay, I'm not going 1,000 miles per hour now. I can calm down. I'm not forced to work every single day. I'm not forced to be up at 0500 and be reporting and making sure my guys are accountable and stuff. And it's like, I can finally take a little breather. And I literally came back and ran a marathon because I was like, I needed to.
I feel like that's going to be an entire section of like all the races you did, not only over here, but over there, and even when you came back. But after MEPS, that's when you pretty much start getting towards like boot camp, right?
Yeah. So active duty, they go straight off at MEPS. They'll check in, and then boom, they sign their contract. They leave to go to boot camp the next day. So,
oh, really? I thought it was like a little bit of a distance from then. I didn't know it was right away.
If they're doing an active duty contract, you kind of wait to go to MEPS. So they have you like, you can do 2 days. So there's one day where you do the test and everything, and then you'll come back. That final day you go to MEPS, you ship out the next day for active duty. For reserves, it's cool. You get to like go to MEPS and then you come back home. And you go, all right, I think they put you back. I think we went to the hotel again, checked out the next morning, and then your recruiter comes and picks you up. And my recruiter was funny. When he picked me up, he goes, "Oh, so you didn't sign, bro?" And I'm like, No, I signed. What are you talking about?" And then he goes, "Oh, are you serious? Oh, you signed?" And he goes, "Oh, that's awesome, man. Congrats." And I'm like, "No, are you messing with me?" And like, he legit thought I wasn't going to join. He was like,
really?
"No, he found out too much. He's been compromised." Like he's like, this guy
found out that the $20,000 bonus wasn't on there.
Yeah, he's like, "There's too many red flags. There's no way." But then he's like, "Oh, you did? Oh, well, congrats, man. Like you're gonna do really well, man."
I was gonna ask you about that because in hindsight, it looks like the advice that you got from your dad was really instrumental in how everything played out. Because clearly there are some tactics that the military uses in getting people signed on. So for a young person, somebody, because your mindset at 18 compared to your mindset at 26 was very different, and I feel like you had very good guidance. And not everybody, especially from what you told me as some of the people that you had on your team, they not everybody's going to have that kind of guidance in their life.
Right.
What would be some of the things, or what would be key pieces of advice that you would give to young people that are looking to enlist based on what you know now and based on your experience?
Yeah, absolutely. Do your research. Figure out what branch is right for you. Don't just believe everything you see on TV. Absolutely don't do that. Talk with people who have actually been in the position, that have done the job, and continuously watch YouTubes. Like, continuously do your research, cross-reference. There's going to be some people who tell the truth. There's some people who don't, and you're going to figure that out on your own. And be brute. Ask so many questions I think anybody who's aspiring to learn and grow and eventually make it up the ranks, right? Just ask as many questions as possible. Otherwise, we don't know what you want, and that's the thing. No one's going to go up to bat for you if we don't know where the end goal is for you too. And that's what for me, I will actually just start training people. Like, I'll just be like, hey man, come over here, and I'll just start showing them how to do things. Even at work right now. So I work at HRL Laboratory. I'm a security supervisor over there, and I have a pretty big team over there. And a lot of the guys are like, I think I want to move up and stuff. I think one day I could be a supervisor. I'm like, cool, let me show you how to do scheduling. I'll pull up the Excel sheet. I'll start showing them how to do it and stuff. And they love that. They're like, oh man, Ruchman's so cool, dude, and all this stuff. And it's like, nobody ever did that for me. And it's like, I want to be able to open the door for them and have that like sort of open door policy with them. And that's the kind of leader I like to be. I like to lead from the front, show them how to do it and stuff. And I think poor leadership and poor mentoring will get you to there. It's not good leaders that develop you. It's the poor ones, because the poor ones are like, wow, I never want to be like him. I want to do the opposite and cultivate a better team. Cultivate guys who respect me and aren't just like, I'm telling them what to do. I'm like, can you go do that? Have some manners. Say please. Say thank you. And then they're going to have that for their guys too. They're going to be like, hey, one of my greatest mentors and leaders that I looked up to was like this. And every great leader I've met in my military career, they've always talked about a great mentor above them. So now you're actually passing the torch. And that's tradition, I think. That's like the true, like, wow, you had that, fighting spirit. You had that true warrior ethos and stuff. That's something they have you like memorize, right? Warrior ethos is a word that gets kind of tossed around a lot for good leaders. And that, you got to memorize it. It's like, I will always place the mission first. I will never accept defeat. I will never quit. And that's important, because you want to quit 24/7.
Right.
You're like, man, screw these guys. They're not listening to me or whatever. And you have those moments, right? But you never quit. They're going to look to you for guidance. If you never quit, they're never going to quit.
And you learn that ethos in boot camp, right?
You learn in boot camp, yeah. So like Soldier's Creed.
What was the hardest thing that I guess you could say that you learned at boot camp that maybe other people are probably going to go through as they go through boot camp as well?
Yeah. I'll kind of break it down. So like when you get shipped off for basic training, right? So BCT, basic combat training, is what you have to do for the Army. What I love about the Army too is everybody has to do it. It doesn't matter. You could be an officer coming in with a degree. So OCS, Officer Candidate School.
Right.
You have to go to boot camp. You go to boot camp first. They'll put you as a specialist, as an E4. That's what I went in as. It's kind of cool. Army will put you in based on your education too. So you come with a degree, you go in at the highest rank possible, which is E4, which is right below sergeant. So I've only had one promotion in my career so far. A lot of people will have 5 promotions by the time they get to sergeant, right? It's E5. So you're level 5, right? I only had to go through 1, and that's probably why I got fast tracked, right? That was part of it, because they're like, okay, you're eligible after 18 months. And so there's like different tiers of where they think you should get promoted. I was in the first tier, because they were like, hey, this guy's solid. Let's, get him up. Mm-hmm. But that definitely helped. And I think that experience helps too. But also, if you have a degree, you can go in as an officer, which is lieutenant, which is like, you're now like 10 ranks up at that point.
Really?
Because now you're in the officer series versus enlisted. We go E1 through E9. That's like sergeant major is the highest. And then when you go officer series, 01 to 09, and 01 is lieutenant. And you're completely outranked in E9. There's warrant officers below that too. That's a whole nother beast, but they're above enlisted in between officers. You outrank all those guys too as just an
Really?
01, as a fresh, they call it butter bars, as a fresh second lieutenant. And so that
okay.
I'm kind of entering that pipeline now because I put in my OCS pack and everything, and I had all these recommendations from higher ups and captains, majors. So that's really exciting. That was my takeaway from Kuwait on my deployment.
How long is the actual boot camp?
Boot camp is, yeah, I mean, I get sidetracked so easily. Boot camp is 10 weeks, right?
10 weeks, okay.
And that's just your BCT, basic combat training. It's broken down into 3 phases. There's going to be red phase, white phase, and blue phase. And you're like, red,
yeah,
white,
red,
blue.
yeah.
Okay, cool. I didn't even put that all together till the very end. They give you such little information. They give you a packet. They give you this, like, when you arrive. There's different boot camps. There's different locations. For military police, we get kind of conjugated with other, they call MOS as other jobs, right?
Right.
Infantry is going to have its own. So that's going to be at Fort Benning, and it's OSIT, which is like 1 unit training. So you do boot camp and you go straight into your job training.
Oh, okay.
So that's going to be for those guys. And so it kind of sucks because you don't even get a graduation until the very end. There's no like little barrier where it's like, oh, we've made it to the next level. It's like, no, dude, they just keep you there.
Just keep
and
going.
You have the same drill sergeants, and they just keep beating you up. Like, they're like, oh, you guys think you made it somewhere? They're like, you're not even done yet. And it's like, I've heard stories, and I'm like, wow, that really has to suck. You don't get any extra privileges. Usually, like, as they progress you at boot camp, you'll get more privileges. You'll get like, okay, here's your phone, man. Go call your parents, like, and stuff like that.
Oh, so they actually give you your phone back?
Once you'll accumulate more privileges. So like on the weekends, like eventually you'll get like a free day, right? To go out on the base. They have like a PX there. They have a shopette. You can go get energy drinks. You can go get your own food. You can go to the movie theater. There's a bowling alley. Eventually you get to do all that. Not at boot camp. This is like, we're talking like AIT, which is advanced individual training. That's going to be like when you're learning your job, like for military police. We had to go to MP AIT or MP Academy, right?
Oh, okay.
So that's when you get more privileges. So the first 10 weeks, red, white, and blue phase. Your first phase, red, you get off the buses. You have all the drill sergeants just screaming at you. It's called the shark attack. They're going to do all that. They're going to get in your face. They're going to make you carry your bags. And they love coming after the younger guys. So, God bless. Man. I looked a little bit older, right? I've always been told I have like a bit of a baby face. I kind of look younger. So they mess with me a little bit, but they'll see like, if you're a kid, like you're 17, 18, they're coming after you. They want you. They want to take a bite out of you. They're like, because they know like, hey, this kid might cry. Like, and they want that.
And they want to see that person cry so that the other people could feel it too.
Yeah, it's like it kind of creates that kind of like aura when you're there. It's like, hey, like you showed up to join the army. It's like it's tryouts time, And red phase is where you can actually eliminate people if they're not going to make the cut. Physically too, you'll see people who did not come prepared, and they made that very clear. They're like, hey guys, how many of you guys are fat? And then he goes, I want you to raise your hands right now. And like we had a whole formation, and then he goes, okay, that's cool. None of you guys raised your hands because I'm looking at a lot of you guys, and you're not ready. You didn't come prepared for boot camp and stuff, for basic combat training. And we're like, oh man, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, no, I trained. Like I feel pretty good. Like I'm in the middle, and I'm like, okay, he's not really looking at me, so that's a good sign. Like, but he definitely there were guys he picked on. That was the one thing you can't discriminate against, and that was if you were fat, because that is something fundamentally that's going to change with basic combat training, with going through the whole boot camp, going through the whole pipeline. You will lose weight. And there's one guy I'm pretty proud of. He lost like 60 pounds.
Wow. In the 10 weeks?
In the 10 weeks.
That's wild.
And they were smoking him like night and day.
I mean, bet.
And
so he must have came in heavy though.
He was heavy. Yeah, he was strong though. He was a strong dude. He had an attitude too. It was funny. Like immature. He would do a lot of immature jokes. But I really like, it is such a humbling thing to see at the end how much you grow, and as a person too. And he was pretty humble by the end of it. He was like people were like were fat or whatever, like other people who saw like a little weight on them and stuff. He was like kind of looking out for them. He's like, hey guys, like they're working hard, like leave them alone and stuff. And I'm like, whoa, look at you, dude. Like you were like the most immature dude. You were making fun of everybody. You were talking all this shit, and then look at you, man. Like, so I thought that was pretty cool. I started being pretty nice to him at that point. Before I wasn't. I was like, no. If you're gonna disrespect people, belittle people, like I would stand up for some of the younger guys and stuff too. I kind of became, since I had kind of all that experience prior, I was already leading a team before I left too. I was already No, actually, no. That's not true. So I was leading a team before I left for my deployment. I'm like mixing the two up. I was I didn't have that position until after. But I had college counselor experience before, so I was already like, I knew how to talk to people. I knew how to communicate with people. So I would gather the guys up, and a lot of them, dude, I had guys who were crying the first night. You heard them in their beds, like straight up crying.
During the red phase?
During red phase. Like we were getting smoked so bad, like at all times of the night. They would even pull you out to go smoke you guys the second time. They'd be like, and something that wouldn't even make sense. Nothing made sense anymore. Like we would do everything right, and then they were like, "Oh, you guys left 2 minutes early before I dismissed you." We're like, nobody did that. No, literally, we looked around. Nobody like left early or whatever. And then back to push-ups. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and it was in cadence. And they would just start smoking you again. And we're like, okay, like, so they call it the first 72 hours, right. And they can basically just make you do whatever push-ups, pushing whatever it is, like workout-wise. They want to let you know they're in charge. You're not in charge anymore, and you basically have to accept that this is the authority over you. Like you have to trust them too. And so after getting in the beginning, even it was getting to me, I was like, oh man, like I regret coming here. Like I'm having all that go through my head. I'm like, oh man, like I don't know what I got myself into. Is there a way to quit? There is no way to quit. Like, like you could go to sick call, which is like in the morning, they'll be like, okay, if you need medical treatment or whatever, go to sick call. You're feeling like sick or whatever. And it's not even a full day thing. You'll go for a couple hours and then you go right back into it.
They'll send you back, right?
Yeah, and you could be legit sick. They don't care. They're like, all right, man.
You have a fever. All right, take this and go ahead and head back. Yeah. Is there would you say like if you could do this, you would be somewhat prepared for boot camp, like physically, like if you could do 10 push-ups and like 10 pull-ups and 10, I don't know, or that's just me making it up.
They have a certain set of standards that you have to obviously qualify for. Mm-hmm. Like the standard's low. Like you got to think like everyone thinks when they watch they see social media and they're like, oh man, look at these Green Berets, look at these Special Forces, look at David Goggins, Navy SEAL, right? Mm-hmm. And then he also did Ranger School. He did paratroopers with Air Force and stuff. These are specialized groups. Like to even put it in perspective, David Goggins was a tier 2, right? Mm-hmm. So we talk about tier 1. That's like SEAL Team 6, Delta Force, right? He wasn't even tier 1. Not to obviously discredit David Goggins. I think he's incredibly decorated. He's an incredible sailor. And then
but he wasn't the top of the top.
Yeah, so he's not even top of the top. He was in tier 2, which is still like tier 2 is a big deal. Like when we say like, hey, we got some tier 2 guys here, we're training with them today and stuff. Like we train like on our deployment, we trained with tier 2 guys that they were SEALs that they came out.
Right.
And they did some training exercises with us. We were about to get pulled for another mission, but that was like we welcome them with open arms. Like we're like, that's awesome, man. Like they have so much experience and wisdom they can train us on. Then after tier 2, you go tier 3. You have you'll have some from Ranger Battalion. You'll have your normal infantry from Marines, your normal infantry from Army. That's tier 3, and then you go tier 4, and that's like your grunts. That's like everybody.
Okay. That's like the general population type of deal.
So it's like you can even compare it to football, right? You have your community college, right?
Your Division 1 compared to like a Division 3.
Yeah, and so when I'm like, we're at the bottom of the totem pole here, and we're still getting smoked. So I'm like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. Like, even like your basic soldier, right? This is what you have to go through. This is the certain adversity you have to go through. And in all honesty, it's all a giant game. As long as you say, I'm not going to quit, they won't quit on you. And you'll start to see that throughout the process. And believe me, I saw that too. I was like, oh man, they're so done with me. When I got to the range, that's in white phase. So basically, you get smoked a lot. Red phase, they're developing you into civilian to soldier, right? Great. Mm-hmm. You're learning the creed. You're learning how to march. You're learning all the basics and everything. You learn how to, and you have your rifle on you at 24/7. Your M4 gets distributed to you day 1, and they said, this is your new best friend. Say hi. And it's going to sleep with you everywhere you go. You have a partner too. So anytime they call it, I don't know where they come up with these terms, but battle buddy, right?
Battle buddy.
And we're like,
buddy.
I heard it, and like I kind of started to smirk, and like the people started laughing. Immediately we started doing push-ups. They're like, all right, are you guys cool with that? Did everyone get that new word acclimated? They're like, great. We're like, no more making fun of it, or you're gonna do more push-ups. And we're like, okay. Like Air Force calls it wingman. That's probably a cooler term.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, yeah, wingman.
Yeah, but battle buddy, I was like, oh, okay, Army. Like, all right, we could have done better there. But and it's all about accountability. It's like your rifle and stuff. Like you have to go. We call it the latrine or the restroom, right? You have to go use the bathroom and stuff. It's like you have to leave your weapon with someone. You're not gonna take a rifle into the bathroom.
Right.
That's how suicides happen. So we can't have that. There's no live ammunition either until you get to the range. So it's like your weapon's just with you. So like we're out in the field, we're doing like some exercise, FTX or something, and I remember you're putting this rifle in your sleeping bag, and then there would be guys coming around, like that would be at night, like some of the drill sergeants would come around trying to take your rifle out of your sleeping system.
Oh wow!
Because they want to know that you're paying attention.
Yeah.
So you got to really stow it away. Some people left their rifle out of their sleeping system, of their sleeping bag, and they would take them. They're like, "Hey, where's your rifle, man?" And then like your anxiety just starts going through the roof.
Yeah,
you're like,
you know they're gonna chew you out or something.
Something awful is gonna come out of it, and you're like, oh man, you know. And at the end of the day, you know, it's like this is all for training,
right?
Right, where no
There's
one's in
a reason
danger
for this.
But the level of fear that was put in you was insane, and that's what they want you to get to.
What would you say is the biggest character trait that was developed through that process?
Adversity, you know, just having the ability to overcome really stressful situations and stuff. And I'm not even leading the situation at this point. Like, so you can imagine, okay, there's some stress in a situation. Imagine when you have soldiers under you, their well-being and their lives are under you too. And you have to deal with that. And they're looking for you for guidance. They're prepping you to get to that level.
Right.
And at the time, I thought it was near impossible. I was like, I will never be a leader and stuff. And they scare you. They put this fear factor in you, like, oh, okay, you have to respect the guys above you. They know what they're doing and stuff. You have to trust. I guess part of that red phase too, before I switched to white phase, is you have to trust your equipment. They do a thing where you tread wall tower, you get to the top of the tower. It's like 4 stories, and you have to like basically rappel down like a firefighter.
Oh, okay.
But like the way you do it, like they get you to the top, they hook you in, and you're holding it, and you're like, okay, lean all the way back. So you're just like completely just laying down in the middle of air, like 4 stories up. Dude, it's scary. The whole thing sucks. And I'm just like sitting there, and I hate heights. So I'm like there, I'm like, all right. And they're like, are you nervous? I'm like, yeah. They're like, well, nobody cares. And I'm like, all right, good to go. So then like I lean down, and I'm like, that is cool. Nobody does care. It's like, here, make it happen. And the whole thing is trusting your equipment.
Right.
And then there's a guy at the bottom of this rappel tower, and they're giving out the slack. So they're
your battle buddy, or is it someone else?
It's your battle buddy, right? So, and you can have multiple battle buddies. It's not like your said battle buddy, like, oh, my battle buddy's on here. It's like you get a new one, right? And they're going to be at the bottom of the tower. You have to trust that soldier that they're going to let off enough slack that you don't die. It's like,
so it's team. A lot of it is teamwork building that you're doing in white phase.
Yeah, red phase.
Red phase.
So red phase is trusting you, building yourself up as a soldier, and then smoking you just like calisthenically. We got to get you to a certain level.
Yeah.
And then trusting, you'll do a lot of like, we did kind of similar to Spartan races where they have you like go over these obstacles and stuff.
Right.
Except you're using your partners. So you're going to be like pulling each other over these walls. There's going to be some where it's like some of these females, right? Because Army, again, was one of the only ones that train with girls too. So it's co-ed. So, which is great because when you're out in the field, it's co-ed, right?
Yep.
When we're on a deployment, right?
Yeah.
So like there's a wall that's like 8 feet tall. Would a normal girl who's like maybe 5'2" have the ability to get over that without help? No, probably not. But knowing your team is so important. So it's like, okay, figure it out, right? So we have some guys who are like 6'3", 6'4", right? Cool. They're going to be at the bottom pulling people up, and then you use his shoulders, and then you know one person will be at the top of the wall. I was able to like, they threw me up there. I'm pretty athletic, and then I was at the top, and I was pulling people over. And when I tell you I'm using all my strength to pull people up, I was like, wow. I'm like, good thing I work out. Like I'm just like. Finally, the biceps are paying off, and I would pull people over and stuff. My partner Smith, he was down there pulling. He's like shoving people up and stuff. And then it's so funny. They're coming up, and I remember I just see a boot coming up, and a huge boot just comes and hits me in the face when I'm at the top of this, and I almost fall off the whole wall.
Ooh.
And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna die today. Cool. So
8
like,
feet up, hit with a muddy boot, probably
across the face. I remember like
face.
it was one of those like slaps. Like you see those. Those like slapping contests and stuff. It was literally like that. My whole head turned like that, and I'm like, oh man. And she's like, I'm so sorry, I didn't see you there. I'm like, all right, like for sure. Like you saw me there, but all good. Like, and then I dropped her off. But it was cool, that team building, doing those obstacles and stuff. And then you realize like in a way, you kind of see where you place on the team too.
Right.
Like, are you in the top of the herd? Or are you in the bottom and stuff?
Right.
And then you start to see. In the beginning, it was like competition, where you're thinking in that competition mindset, like,
Right.
oh, people are getting eliminated and stuff like that. I need to be at the top of the class. It wasn't like that. Now you start to see the cohesiveness of a team. You start to see like you're gonna have guys who are built stronger, maybe smarter, or and physically they're there, but then mentally, like they could be, a brick.
Right,
you know?
right.
They might not be able to contribute to like land navigation. They might not. When you get to the range, yeah, maybe they're not the best shot. So like here I am, like very physically fit, pretty smart when it comes to like tactics, stuff like that. But then let me tell you, when we get to the range, oh man, I was a mess. So here comes White Phase, right? Now they're like, hey guys, you see your M4s that you guys have had this long? They're like, we're gonna start using them. We're like, oh cool, okay. So then we go out to the range. And first you have to group. You have a target, right? You have to group it in a certain set point there. And if you can't do that, it's like, oh man, like you're really messed up. And then that way you can actually, when you're developing your shot group and everything, they're gonna make adjustments and everything. So they want you to get that dead center and stuff. So they'll make the adjustments. But if you're firing off target, like there's some issues. When I first got out there, I was so nervous. I hadn't shot M4 before. I haven't shot an automatic. I hadn't shot a rifle.
Right.
Yet. I shot pistols, but I never had shot a rifle. And so I'm out there. I'm like, I'm getting kind of in my head and stuff.
And it's a good distance too, right? Like, what are you looking at? 300 yards?
Dude, in the beginning, no, it was like 100.
100.
We were not that far away. And they just want you to get your shot group. They're like, hey guys, basic stuff. And I remember I was messing that up. I remember I was like going through clips and stuff, and they're like, bro, are you good? Like, are you seeing this? Do you need glasses and stuff? And I'm like, and they're like, and then they look and they're like, dude, your red dot's not even on. And I'm like, I knew that. And they come over, I get that shot group going. They're like, you're good to go, man. But like, I remember one of my drill sergeants, so I was getting kind of like, hey, like, am I doing all right and stuff? Like, and he genuinely, like, they can tell when you genuinely need like guidance, when you need a mentor, and yelling at you is not going to be the best advice sometimes. And that he looked at me and goes, he kind of gets in his, like, he stops yelling, kind of tones down his voice and goes, hey man, if you're not going to give up, I'm not going to give up today. We're going to be out in this rage until you get it. And I was like, all right. He goes,
well, that's assuring.
and then he says yes, like question mark. I'm like, oh yeah, yes, drill sergeant. Like, you have to go back into your like manners, right?
Right.
And then I just kept shooting, and like literally the sun was coming down, and people were like getting pissed. They're like, we want to go home, right? They want to get on the bus, go back.
Right.
Everybody's waiting in the bleachers.
Wow.
Right, and they're watching you, so you're kind of like, so
More
if you're-
pressure.
Yeah, and they're like, hey, so I finally get it, and they're like, I have the guys going, hey Ruchman, are you blind? Hey Ruchman, Helen Keller shoots better than you. Hey, like, they were saying all this stuff. There was all this smack, but at the end they were like, hey man,
Stevie Wonder could have made that shot.
literally they're like, hey bro, like, do you have autism? Like, they were saying like they were saying all this stuff, and like you kind of love it too at the end. You're like, damn, like we're having a good time.
Yeah,
And
they're
then-
hazing you, but it's friendly.
Yeah, but like if I would say if your PT isn't there, Army sucks, because then they're just like ripping you on your weight and stuff. But
Right.
like they saw that like I was one of the more jack guys there, so they were like, oh dude, like all those muscles and you can't even shoot the target and stuff. And I'm like, oh, the two don't go together, but okay. Like we ended up doing our final shoot and stuff, and it's cool because like I said, that growth, that discipline, and like it all came together. I ended up getting sharpshooter. So
Oh, nice.
it's like I went from barely being able to hit target, like
Right.
that nervous, my hands are shaking and stuff, and then I qual with sharpshooter, and they're like, dude, nice. Like,
What is sharpshooter? Obviously, you're a skilled shooter, but what are the requirements to be like? Oh, he's ranked as a
yeah.
sharpshooter.
So there's shooting expert is your top. Those are your top shots. You only miss like 2 shots. I don't know the exact number, so I think for M4 it's out of 40 shots. 40 targets are out there, and you only have 40 bullets, right? So every shot matters. Expert, you're missing 1 to 2 shots. You're
Wow.
you're 38, 39, 40. When you go down the list, sharpshooter, you can have, obviously it's like 3 to 7 shots missed. So I think I had just qualified for it. I was like, okay, I just got it. And then marksmanship is your minimum standard.
Okay.
And that's going to be like, I think it was 28 out of the 40. So maybe less. I think it was like 25 you had to get.
Gotcha.
So that's just getting your bare minimum. That should be doable. Like, something should be aggressively wrong.
Right.
If you're not hitting that shot group, it's like, or system malfunction or something. That happens too. Like, where I had one guy, this is out when I was deployed. We were the cadre. They had the military police as the cadre running the whole range. It was a shooting competition, and I had one guy on mine and he literally like dropped his mag and all the bullets fell out. And I'm like, oh, bro, that's bad. I look down. I'm like, oh, man, you lost your whole mag there. And then he like, I was cool about it. You can call an alibi. And so I called an alibi. I was like, hey, he has like 6 shots. And then the range master's like, oh, dude, that's so bad. And he's like, that's pretty embarrassing. He's like, have him load up and shoot again. And like on the next iteration, and then have him just fire off 6 more rounds, but tell him to do like rapid fire so the other guys can't hear. So they can be cool about it.
As far as this like accuracy assessment, is it based on one final test, or is it like an average of all your work at the range? Like, how do they assess these different categories?
Yeah, so they'll have like, I wish I had an example of the targets and stuff, but like they have like a human cutout, right, of a target, and then they'll have like different circles within the target. So you have to get in that range right there.
Yep.
Yeah, and you have to make your shot group there. And then we'll go like because I've now been a grader, right? I've been someone who has to grade other soldiers on shooting at competitions, and you'll go in there with your little Sharpie or highlighter, and you'll circle where their shot group is. Let them shoot another iteration, so then we see where they shot before, and then you'll line up and be like, okay, in that 3 set iteration, they did shoot this many headshots, or they did shoot this many center mass shots and stuff, and that's how you can use as a metrics to measure it. So pretty simple. We try to keep everything pretty simple in the Army. Nothing too complex on that, but it's crazy when like you look at I've seen some targets and I'm like, there's like 2 shots on here and you shot off like 10 rounds. It's like, where do they go? And then you look at the person to the right and they have like 20 shots on theirs. And it's
right.
Oh, you were shooting at the wrong target. And that happens. It happened way too many times. And actually, when I got the sharpshooter, right, the dude next to me was shooting on my targets too. So he probably shot like 3 of my targets. I'm like, oh, I'm such a good shooter. It's like, oh no, homie next to me gave me like 3 targets. So it happens though. We had one guy who shot expert, dude. The guy next to him shot all his bullets down his.
No way.
Down his. So we're like, oh yeah, he's such an expert. Like we were all laughing about it. We're like, it's not legit. Like we're literally grunts. Like none of us like are really that great.
Yeah, everyone's kind of relatively new to using the we said M4?
M4A1. Yeah. So yeah.
So does that like section? Because you said it was red, white, and then blue. Did you slowly go into blue at that point?
Yeah. So blue phase, you really start to hone in on a lot of your skill set. So now, and it's crazy. It's like we act like we've been there so long. It's the whole thing is 10 weeks. So white phase is your longest phase. They usually have that that'll be like 5 weeks. And then now your blue phase is like maybe less than 3 weeks. And that's going to be like you're prepping. The last week is prepping for graduation. So last week, prep for graduation and then actually do the graduation ceremony. Working on marching, making sure you guys are like well put together, everything looks good, and you're gonna throw live grenades in blue phase too. That's something that's kind of cool. They prep you for that. When you're in the chow hall and you're going through, you're getting your food and everything, they're screaming at you, whatever. They always tell you to put your cups to your chest. It was one of those like little things that they told you to do, and.
What's the purpose behind it?
So it all comes together full circle, and like from day one, you're like cups to your chest. So you'd fill up your drinks, whatever it is. You have 2 of them, and they're at your chest, right? And you're walking with them like this, and they even tell you to put your thumbs outward, and you're like, okay, like are they just messing with us? Whatever. No one questioned it. It was one of those things like, here's what you're told. Just do it. And they would scream at you, and then you would sit down. Everyone take seats, whatever. You do it all at the same time, and then you would like have chow. So when we get out to the grenade range, right? During blue phase, and they're like, hey guys, cups to your chest when you have the grenades. And we're like, oh, they're talking about the grenades now. And we would have the grenades right here. And they're like, remember what we taught you guys? And then right here, flick them like this, right? So you take it, flick it off right here, and then you're going to get down and actually throw the live grenade. And there's a whole methodology to it, but it's like, it's so weird because you're so nervous. You kind of blank out, like throwing a live grenade. It's like, okay, if you mess this up, you're like, everyone around you
can actually get hurt.
Yeah, this is a big deal now. So it's like, and it's like within 10 weeks, we have to get you so disciplined that you're ready to throw a live grenade. And some of these guys are 18, 17 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like when reality hits, but it's like this methodology does work. It has worked, as like the fail rate is so low.
It's like dummy proof.
So
you can't make a mistake if we teach you everything correctly.
They try to make it basically dummy proof. So when we got out there to throw live grenades, I'm nervous too. I'm like, dude, it's a grenade. Who throws grenades? Like that's usually not a thing that people do. And I had this kid ahead of me and stuff, and they'll even mark your helmet. Like Army's kind of funny. Like if you screw up, they'll put like there was people with an F on their helmet and stuff. Like they failed, right? They failed to throw it that far. They had they were and I think they're just messing with you at this point, like and stuff. They would have white chalk and they would mark your helmet and whatever it was. They had a C on there for you're throwing too close, you have a close grip or whatever. And so, like, people with those markings on their helmets were like, oh, we were getting nervous. We're like, oh, dude, this guy, like, we were doing the practice grenades, and he didn't do that well. So, we're like, and now they're like, all right, dude, go throw the real grenade. Good luck. And I'm like, oh, God. So, and they have a sergeant. They'll have someone who's, like, trained, like, a sergeant out there that is like, hey, dude, if you don't throw a grenade, I'm going to throw it for you. Like, I'm going to grab it. You have this, like, little bunker that you're in. And he's like, I'm going to make sure so all these guys are good to go. And like they make it, they're talking to you calm at this point. They're not screaming at you or anything.
Because they want you to do it right.
They want you to do it right. They don't want to freak you out. They're like, all right, man. Hey, yeah, just take it. And then when you pull the pen, the firing pin for the grenade, you go like this slowly too. And you just go, here you go. You hand them the pen. And then you just go, okay, man, go ahead and throw your grenade. And then you'll take a knee and then you throw your grenade.
Oh, so they make you take a knee to actually, I'm guessing, stabilize yourself?
Yeah.
So you don't actually like slip or something?
Yeah, you basically pull your hand all the way back right here. You take a knee, and then first, all calm, and you have 3 seconds, right? But they're like, all calm, dude. Hey, one of the seconds, be all calm. Here's the pen. And you say, thank you, Sergeant, whatever, take a knee, and then you throw it out. And that's it. And then they say, look down, too. There were people who were lookers, so they put an L on their helmet because they want to watch the explosion. You just go on the floor, and you take a knee, and then you look down. They don't even want you watching the grenade. You just toss it and then go down.
Gotcha.
And the whole method behind that too is like, in the event that you don't throw the grenade or whatever, they can grab it from you and then have time to go throw it. If you're still standing up or whatever, you might be looking around trying to grab the grenade or whatever. They don't want that. They want to be able to have enough time to basically like diffuse the situation.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
like a student driver.
Yeah.
And the passenger is the teacher that's kind of like trying to get you to do the right thing.
Just with grenades, not a big deal. I remember one of them. When I did this competition where we went out and it was like a shooting competition and stuff. It was one of the best soldier competitions or best warriors, what it was called, because you have your team. And we had grenade launchers. And this is like right after boot camp. I got to go out and do this stuff. Like after I did AIT and I got back home in San Diego, I went out with this unit and did it. And I remember one of my sergeants, such a cool guy. He was like, "Hey, Ruchman, don't drop your grenades," because like literally you had like 4 grenades for the launcher to put it in and stuff. And he's like, "Hey, don't drop it or we're dead." Like, and he like looked at me and we just started cracking up. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna drop it. It's cool, Sergeant. We're good. And he goes, okay, cool, because like I didn't feel like dying today. And we literally blew up a house together. It was so sick. They had a mock house for this competition. It was in South Carolina, and they were like, all right, guys, when you guys are ready, 4 of us were online. I have a video of it, and we just literally with the grenade launcher blow this entire house up. It was so sick.
That reminds me of like World War II when they were testing the nuclear bombs, and they'd have the houses,
the fake houses,
figurines, and everything.
It was really cool. Like they put a lot of money into this best warrior competition. Like it was cool that I was eligible to go. When I got back from training and everything, they were like, dude, what body fat percentage are you? And they were kind of messing with me. They're like, what's your BMI, bro, and stuff. And at the time I was 12% body fat, right? So it was pretty good. I was pretty cut up. And they're like, yeah, you're okay, bro. Like obviously, you know, I'm married. The guy was measuring me and stuff. And he goes, and when you're married, you're going to put on some pounds. And then he's like, and when I was your age, I was probably like 3% body fat, you know? So obviously I'm not that now. That makes sense, right? And whatever they say, I have to agree with. So I'm just like, oh yeah, Sergeant. Yeah, good to go. Like whatever.
Yeah, I believe you. 3%. Yes, Sergeant.
Yeah, I was like, whatever. I get called into the main office where you have like a first sergeant who's kind of in charge of the unit, and then with the captain. And they were like, hey, we got your results. They're like, hey, congrats getting back from everything. You know, graduating boot camp, all that good stuff. They're like, we're going to put you in the competition. Oh, okay. And I'm like, really? I'm like, but I just got back. Like, literally, this is like 2 weeks when I first got back. And they're like, yeah, but like, we need someone to represent the unit. And it's like, we're going to choose you. So
that's awesome.
You've been voluntold. Congratulations. I'm like voluntold. Okay. So I ended up getting my first RCOM medal from that, like combination medal. So our group came in first place.
Oh, sweet.
So nice. Yeah, that was a really cool experience. But
so
back,
it's red, white,
blue.
Yeah, the last one's blue.
Blue phase, you graduate. You know, you kind of hone in on your skills. You've already gone to the range. You've already thrown grenades. You've now been cohesive with your team. You've done all these like competitions to kind of develop yourselves. Like they had the rappelling down the wall. They had these courses you had to go do. You've already gone through the gas chambers too. So gas chambers where you're like the tear gas, right?
Right.
And that it just sucks. Like it's one of the last things you have to do. You put your mask on, and then they're like, they go, okay, guys, recite the Soldier's Creed, and we're just in there. And I'm in the front of the line, and like my drill sergeant was just funny. Like he goes, hey, you know the door's right here, and I go, yeah, and he goes, you have to push me out of the door if you're gonna get out, and I'm like, oh, bro, like I'm like, why me? So then he's a big guy too, and I'm like getting all skinny from all the workouts. So I'm like, okay, I'm like maybe a $180 now. So I'm like, oh, okay, I don't have all my muscle now. So I'm like, all right, I tried pushing him, and then he like literally like takes my mask and pushes me down, and then he opens the door up, and then we all go flying out, and he's just cracking up the whole time. But like literally, we're trying to recite the creed, and then you say, like I remember we say A, like we open up our mouth, and then all of it goes in. And because they tell you to remove your mask, like basically you're using the mask, it's working, that you're surrounded by tear gas, and then they're like, it's pretty cool, right? Okay, now remove your mask. And we're like, oh, bro, we don't want to do this. And that happened. Tear gas is not that bad.
No?
You know.
What does it feel like?
It just, so I've been OC sprayed now.
Right.
So being pepper sprayed and stuff, it's like, it shows symptoms of that, where it's like you're tearing up, you have all this mucus that just comes out, and everyone's sick. At one point, you're sharing a bay with 40 different guys. So you're breathing in the same air. People are coughing, and these kids, bro. Like, I call them kids because, like, you know, I had an age gap between them, but they wouldn't wash their hands. They wouldn't do, like, normal, decent things. And, like,
Personal hygiene.
That personal hygiene was low on them. And you see that. You see that in age. It's a maturity thing. But they wouldn't cover their mouths, so they'd be coughing at night, and you just hear it throughout the room. They also refuse to go to sick call because it's a pride thing. So they're like, oh, I don't want to get medication and stuff. Me, I'm like, bro, let me go to sick call again. So I had like a pharmacy in my wall locker. So, and I did it because I want to give it to the other guys. So I'm like, hey guys, like I have medication for you guys. I have this. I was one of the favorite guys. They were like, dude, Ruchman's so cool. And they're like, and then during formations, I'd be like, where is he? He's like, oh, he's at sick call again. And then the drill sergeant was cool. He also knew what I was doing too. So he actually didn't give me a hard time. He was like, dude, you're smart. You're keeping your guys like safe. He goes, you're going to be a great leader. Like it was stuff like that where like you think you'd get in trouble, but like when it's on the behalf of your troops, that's just sacrifice. That's like, I don't care about, they're going to make fun of me going sick call. There were like some guys who were younger that were like, that didn't understand what I was doing.
Right.
And they're like, oh, this dude doesn't want to work out today. This dude, he's being lazy. Oh, this dude, he's like, you know, trying to cut formation and stuff. And he's like, really, bro, you need to be in sick call all the time? And I'm like, yeah, bro, did you notice no one else is in sick call? And then he's like, yeah, I know, because you're always there. And I'm like, did you put 2 and 2 together? Like, I'm giving everyone medication and stuff. And he goes, oh. He goes, so you just don't want to work out? I'm like, all right, bro. Like
you're clearly not understanding.
It wouldn't click. Sometimes it wouldn't click with them until the very end, and then they would like come up to me like, hey, Ruchman, like, dude, it was so cool, like, you know, serving with you, all this stuff. And I'm like, all right, cool, man. Like, I guarantee you, I'm an MP. This is gonna be a different conversation, like, because we're going to different schools and stuff. And they were laughing. Everybody was tight with each other by the end. Like you have that growing camaraderie and bond at the end, and you could even be like, dude, I almost got in a fist fight with you. I almost like whatever. It's like all that is scrapped by the end. It's like, hey, you know, you go out, you have your graduation ceremony, everyone's proud of each other. So that was pretty cool. And then you think you're done. You're like, okay, like we made it, right? Okay, now you get patched. It says like the U.S. Army patches on you. You get like for infantry, they'll get their blue cord on them and stuff. There's like you're wearing your beret and everything, and you have that prideful moment. And then they give you a family day. You go out, have some drinks and stuff, celebrate, and then it's like you get on a bus. And then I had to ship off and go straight to, so I was at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, and then you go straight to Fort Leonard Wood for me for a military place in Missouri. So then you take this crazy bus ride out there, and the whole time, and you have your phone now, you know, you can text, call, whatever, and you're like texting your family and all that, and they're like, okay, we can't wait for you to come home and stuff, and it's like, now I'm about to go for another 10 weeks.
For your actual job.
Yeah, for the actual job training. And you're like, oh, dude, like, I'm kind of done. Like, you're already in your head. You're like, oh, I'm in good shape. Like, I overcame this. It's like, no, you're just getting started. It's like, now you're going to AIT.
Your specialty work.
Yeah, now you have to go off to your specialty school and stuff. And like I said, you got a couple more privileges, like on the weekends. So it was a Monday through Saturday kind of schedule. Sunday was your free day. Sunday was off, and you can go to church. That's why everybody was going to church, right? You would see it all packed in there, and I'm like, oh wow, this is great. A lot of Christians out here and stuff. And I'm like, no, dude, most of these guys would go for donuts, and then they would walk out. There was like, but to some degree, it did affect some guys. There were some guys who were like,
that's good, yeah.
Hey, they're like, hey, like prayer started getting sent out more. There were a lot more guys who were like, hey, you know, I could stick to this and stuff. There were some guys who went to AIT and kept going to church, and now it was kind of hard to go to church. They kind of made it like when you get to like military police academy out there, they make it harder. So like Sundays, like it's still doable. You still have your Sunday off and stuff, but people are like, do I want to spend my day off at church? You know, do I want to like recover? Do I want to sleep? You know, that kind of stuff. But I loved it. We had a great pastor that was out at Oklahoma. You know, he was awesome. He was so cool. And then at the end, they would kind of say like you would announce where you're from and stuff. Like every week there'd be a new graduating class that would be leaving and stuff.
Right.
And I remember like it was week 9. We were about to be up next and stuff. And church was cool because like you'd go to the bathroom, and that was the only place the drill sergeants couldn't go to. So because it's a place of worship, you can't be there. So we'd go to the bathroom, and we would talk to other classes that are like, they would kind of prep us. Like we'd take notes. We're like, hey man, so what's gonna happen next and stuff. And like you're trying to like figure out like kind of forecasts and stuff. Well, this one guy, he went up there, and he like they all lined up, and they were like announcing. They're like, okay, we're from so and so. One person was like Texas, whatever. This one guy says, oh, I'm from Ventura, California.
Really?
Like, oh, what? And so then I like, so I'm like, okay, grab my donut, meet it. I'm like, go over to the bathroom to go talk to him and stuff, because it was like huge like bathrooms, and people would just hang out and talk in there. And I was like, hey, bro, I'm from Thousand Oaks. And he was like, no way. And this guy was like freaking out. It's just like, Army is such a small world sometimes.
Yeah.
So that was pretty sick. He kind of gave me some good info. I still have the guy's number like today. Like
That's awesome.
You know, it was like one of those like cool little moments where like we had that. We're like, oh, bro, we're out here doing this. Like it's crazy. We're out here in Oklahoma, all the way away from home, doing this stuff right now. And I'm like, that's kind of cool, man. So he was a nice guy. Then we got on the buses, go out to Fort Leonard Wood and stuff, and as soon as we get there, same thing. It's like red phase all over again. They start smoking us, and now it's MP instructors too.
Right,
so they're like,
right.
"Oh, you guys want to be cops?" They're like, "You chose the wrong place." And we're like, "Oh, bro!" And like that started going. They started going hard on us. We didn't even learn customs and courtesies. We were kind of behind. So like you're supposed to say like when you see them, "Good morning, drill sergeant." "Hey, good morning, sir," or whatever, their captain or something. We weren't doing any of that. So they were like, why are you guys so screwed up? They were like getting so upset with us. They were like, you guys are the worst class we've ever seen, all this stuff. And for a while, we thought we were the worst class. We were like, wow, these guys hate us, all this stuff. They were saying that we actually ended up being their best class. They were like, we came around in full turn. We had to get it together. Our team, like, I don't know what it was. We were like late to every formation. We had one guy who was always in the wrong uniform, and it had to be uniformity. We had one time where they had us out for formation. It was freezing cold. It's like now we're in like December. This is like right before we were about to graduate. Right. And you show up in your PTs. It's just shorts and a shirt. They have the winters where you have the long sleeve, you have the coat, you'll have the jacket on, and then you'll have the sweatpants on and stuff, and you'll have gloves, and then you have to wear a beanie too. It has to be the full uniform. If one piece is missing, you downgrade everything to the summers, where it's just the shirt and the shorts. So we had this one guy missing his beanie. And we're like, oh, it's just the beanie. He's like, that's all that's missing. He goes, no, actually, you guys are going to miss everything right now. Downgrade everything to summers. And it's like 20 degrees outside.
Gotcha.
I remember that. I was like, oh, bro, like, you suck. Like, all of us were like, or you're going to get jumped when we go back. Like, all of us were like, we all, like, we looked at each other. We're like, we're jumping him. And, like, the guy got jumped. Like, we went back, and everyone jumped this dude.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's like kind of a learning curve, because in the beginning, like during boot camp and stuff, you see like Full Metal Jacket, you see stuff like that. Oh, no, that doesn't happen because you'll get kicked out and stuff. But once you get like, we're police. Like, who are they going to tell? Like,
yeah, that's true.
So like they kind of,
you guys are the ones in charge of everyone else.
Yeah. So and for the most part, like we didn't have to really lock up our wall lockers anymore because we were police. Like we would still do it. But that level of trust was there. Well, like things weren't getting stolen. At boot camp, it was crazy. You didn't lock up your wall locker or anything. Stuff would go missing. People would steal stuff.
Really?
It was crazy. You have people coming from like the worst walks of life too. Everyone thinks like,
yeah, that's true.
Oh, you're in the army,
sense.
like you're a good person. No, you're probably not a good person. Like it's like there's a lot of people who grew up in high crime neighborhoods. It pulled them away from like a lot of bad situations that they were already living in. I had one guy, I think this is what really hit me, where I was like, wow, like this is a huge takeaway I had. We were kind of standing up our beds, we were making them and stuff, and then he started kind of getting emotional. You can tell when someone's like, a guy's starting to like kind of tear up, and I go over and I'm like, hey bro, are you good? And he goes, well, he had that country accent. He goes, well, I've never really had my own bed before. And I go, oh man. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what did you used to sleep on? And he's like, well, like I always had to share beds with like my siblings and stuff growing up, and this is my first bed. Like it's my bed. And I'm like, oh, yeah, bro. And like that hit me so hard. I was like, oh, that's crazy. Like here I am coming from Thousand Oaks, right? You know, growing up in a multi-million-dollar house, and I'm like, and I wouldn't tell anyone where I was from too. I would always be like, oh yeah, I'm from LA and stuff. I would always say that. Once I got to AIT, once I was with the MPs, I was like, I'm from Malibu and stuff, and like they would mess with me and stuff. They like, now it was more of a joke, but in the beginning, no, I wouldn't tell anyone where I was really from. I'm like, oh yeah, just LA dude, and yeah, I wanted to be more relatable to the guys. But stuff like that really got to me. I was like, damn, like he needs this. Gotcha. It was a lot of perspective too. So like that guy never complained. I never heard him complain. He was always like, man, we have a bed. They give us, what is it, 3 hots and a cot. Yeah, that was like the thing to say. And it's all perspective. It's like, yeah, we're getting paid to work out. That's what I tell my guys. Some of them were like, dude, I want to quit. I'm done. And I'm like, why? Dude, you lost all this weight. You're in the best shape of your life. You can actually run now. Like, and running is fun now. And they feed us every meal. Look at your bank account just blow up right now. You're just saving up every check that you're making.
That's true. Yeah, they're making a lot of money that they probably weren't making before.
And they're not even checking their bank accounts. They're like, because we don't, really have access to our phones. So I'm like, I guarantee when you finally check your bank account, it's going to look really good. And they're like, yeah, if I can. It's like you feel like a prisoner, right? Because it's like one guy who quit, right, was talking about how like he was comparing the military to like prison. He goes, prisoners have more rights than us. And I'm like, yeah, they do. But like,
I'm gonna go double check. But you guys keep talking.
All right.
I'll be right back.
But I thought that was kind of a crazy perspective where they was like, yeah, dude, I looked like I had a buddy go to prison or whatever, and he's like, they literally have more rights than us. I was like, oh, dude, that's yeah. I was like, yeah, that's crazy. But it's all perspective. It's like, dude, you're building yourself up. It's worth it. It's like once it's all said and done, like, well, you're gonna have money saved up. You're gonna have a whole new perspective on life and everything. It's like it's all worth it. So, and then that would kind of affect them. They would kind of listen to that and be like, okay, cool, yeah.
And I think the crazy thing too is, and it's also a beautiful thing though, is you get to see all the different walks of life. Like, yeah. And I guess, how would you say those different experiences mesh? Because obviously, there's different age gaps. There's different socioeconomic situations. Yeah. Like, how would you say that all comes into play?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of judgment for sure. You have people who came from such better walks of life, and then, they're like, you don't understand, right? But then, at the end of the whole process, I guess that's where I started telling more of the truth to these guys later, because none of that matters at the very end. At the end, you start to realize, hey, we're all putting on the same uniform. We all decided to raise our right hand and be here. And I think that was a big takeaway, where I was like, we all have that mutual respect for each other now. And it doesn't matter what you came from, who you were as a person, or what you did in the past. It's like we now have that mutual respect for each other. Yeah. And that was the cool part. But yeah, learning where they came from and stuff, I was like, oh, I love this. I love that I got kind of tired of the materialistic people that were kind of that I grew up with and that was in my life. And I'm like, dude, all that matters is like a salary at the end of the day. I started kind of getting bitter because I'm like, it felt like a lot of people I was talking to were like just so hyper focused on how much money you can make and not about like the good you can contribute to society or, inspire good. And there's too many people in my life. And honestly, you get less of that, less and less of that when you change course in your life, when you start to put yourself in an element where you're with people who want to volunteer, who want to kind of give back to society and stuff. Then, yeah, can I get one of those? Then you're going to start to see yourself surrounded by those kind of people. It's like, so you have to kind of put yourself in that village. You have to, that want to cultivate that kind of village and stuff. And it's like, you can't just like keep surrounding yourself with people who don't want to, give back and don't want to contribute, it's like, or volunteer, or just be good public servants and stuff. It's like you have to put yourself in that position, and that's ultimately what I had to do. And I would kind of tell my family. I didn't tell anyone before I joined too. It was
Really?
like this big secret.
Surprise.
I knew they were going to talk me out of it. I didn't want to be talked out of it. I knew I wanted to do this, and that's when they took it seriously. I think people take silence so seriously these days. When you stop talking, and I'm a yapper. Look at this. I've been yapping this whole time.
That's the whole point of the podcast, though. That's the beauty of it.
Everybody knows us. They don't know you.
Yeah.
They've had like 90 episodes of us
Yeah.
yapping, and this is just one episode of you.
For my Yap Fest, yeah. For me, when my family was like silent on the whole thing, where they were like, "You really want to do this and stuff," and I was just kind of quiet, like that. I was like, "Yeah, I signed everything," and they were like, "Oh," and they were like, "Whoa!" Like they didn't try to fight me on it or anything. There wasn't this like, and I thought there was gonna be this dialogue, like how it was in the past. Like, oh, are you sure you know what you're doing? This seems really spontaneous. My mom is a huge advocate for saying I do a lot of spontaneous things, but everything I've done that per se that is spontaneous has been the most beneficial thing for me. I got up when I was in college to go do this Disney internship, right? And that was awesome. And I had to double my course load when I got back to graduate in 3.5 years from college, but it paid off. It was hard. It was absolutely hard. So she was like, "Oh, don't do that. Don't do that." My dad, though, on the other end is like, "No, dude, that sounds like an adventure. Like, go." He goes, now, at the time, he probably wouldn't have said that. But now, like with the deployment, when it came up, my dad was like, "Dude, you know, like that movie Pirates of the Caribbean?" My dad told me, and I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "You know how they just go off on adventures and travel?" He's like, "You should do that."
That's a good analogy.
That is a good analogy.
And I'm just like, "Yeah, Dad, this is gonna be fun. I'll send you pictures." He goes, "Oh, you're gonna have so much fun." He goes, "You're a single guy." Well, I had a girlfriend, but he was like in the sense of like, you're not married, you don't have kids. He goes, "Go do that." He goes, "Go have fun, go live life." He goes, "Save up money." He goes, "Your mom, like she is so scared." He goes, "You know how many times I wanted to move and she kept me grounded." We had that house in Thousand Oaks we grew up in for when I was born. We moved in there, and then they didn't sell it till literally I was like 26. Yeah.
So it was your childhood home, pretty much.
It was our childhood home. We stayed there for 26 years.
Wow.
And the only reason why we moved, my dad had a couple other houses, and he had one in San Diego, and he was like, "Okay, we're renovating that. We're going to move into that one." And my mom was like in tears. She's like, "I don't want to move. This is like, we're all in Thousand Oaks and stuff." And my dad's a pretty understanding dude. If he was like, if let's say I had kids or my siblings had kids and they had to make their way back here to like help out or whatever, they would 100% do that. My dad said that too. He's just like, we need to downsize. We had this huge house in Thousand Oaks. He's like, it's just us living here.
It's just them too, yeah.
And he's like, the pool's expensive, the gardeners are expensive. Like my dad's like saying, "Oh, we can just save so much more money. The market's perfect." And he did sell at a good time. So I commend him. I think he made the right choice. My mom, definitely has her reservations because she's like, San Diego's not as nice as Thousand Oaks. And my dad's like, "Hey, chill. Like you're good." We're in a
Has she
nice
seen
gated
Del Mar?
community. Yeah, I know. There's parts in San Diego that are beautiful. I think her thing is that mama bear complex. Doesn't want to move away from her kids, all that stuff. And I'm like, kids, like I am the youngest one. I am 30 years old now. Like, but I get it. In the event one of us has kids or something, they want to be near grandkids, all that good stuff. So, and they will in due time. My dad's like, "Hey, there's a method to my madness. Let's save up more." My dad keeps working. Dude's
Oh, he's still working?
Dude's 75.
Wow.
And he's still working.
Still working. He's in great shape. That's probably
More
where
power to him.
I get that
more
work
power to him,
ethic from my
for sure.
dad. I definitely, I always saw him working hard, and I wanted to develop that sort of work ethic. And he's someone who definitely motivated me, to go out and do a lot of things that I've done. All right, so let's get back. So Military Police Academy. So basically, yep.
There's one thing I wanted to touch on a little bit, and you kind of briefly got into it, but faith, right? You talked about how one of the privileges you got as you went through this process was getting Sundays off and being able to go to church.
Yep.
How do I want to phrase this? Because there's a few questions in my mind, but as far as what was your faith like coming in? How did your faith shape this experience? And then also, did you see your faith grow throughout this experience?
Yeah, absolutely. I think just being in the military in general, I think is 100% who you surround yourself with. You have a lot more people who share the same faith as you. It's going to enhance your faith. It's going to enhance your relationship with the Lord. A lot more prayer was being presented, and I love that too. I think in a lot of like football teams, high school and stuff, there's not a lot of times where they pray before you go on the field, at least in my experience, right? Maybe other people's experiences were different, but in my personal experience, we didn't do that, a lot of that. And whenever we'd go out, it was just like common sense almost to like, let's have a prayer before we go do anything. Like, let's say we're going to go do a ruck march or something. Somebody can get injured, and they usually do. There's always somebody who like isn't prepared. Right. We're going to go have a prayer before that. And I love that. I love that we cultivate prayer into a lot of the things that we do.
Was this something that the Army encouraged, or was it more so there was a group of strong believers that were around you and you guys kind of gravitated towards each other and took that on?
Yeah, the Army definitely does not encourage it. It is us. It is us. We come together and we share our faith. And I thought that was really cool. And what's cool about that too is like, I love that the Army doesn't encourage it in a way. So it's genuine.
Yep.
So it's like, it's us developing that genuine relationship with the Lord and showing that praise. It's like, and showing that grace that we can all share together. I want to give an example of it, where I was like, we really needed it. We had, when I was on my deployment, we had this guy, Perez, a close friend of mine. Even if he listens to this, he's cool, bro. He had his father had passed away when we were out on deployment, and our Bible study leader, I remember he came over immediately, grabbed him, went into his room, and then he called some of the other sergeants over and he was like, "Hey, Ruchman, come here." He just knew who the other believers were, and then we all went there, and he gave this huge prayer for him and stuff, and I was like, I didn't even know what was going on, right? But I hopped in. I was like, oh yeah, hey, I'm here, man. And then I heard, I was like, wow, dude, that was really hard. It's like we're out there, and that's kind of stuff is happening. They did the same thing for me when my uncle passed away too. I was a little bit quieter about it. I'm not someone who, I don't really like to share that kind of stuff unless like with like obviously my girlfriend or with close family and stuff like that. But yeah, that's where like I think prayer is just so necessary, right? And then we had one of the ruck marches too. Literally right before it's called the Forge at the end of boot camp. You have to do this like 10-mile thing. It's kind of like your rite of passage, right? And people get injured on it. It's like common. It's like they've dealt with it so many times. We had a prayer before that, and dude, people were going down left and right. I saw someone just like they were like maybe 5 paces ahead of me, and they just fall, like collapse, and they broke their ankle.
Wow.
Like they went down, and it just went like to the side. I was like,
ooh, that's broken.
And they just tell you, hey guys, keep your face up, leave them. I'm like, leave them? Like in my head, I'm like, we leave them? And it's like, no, medical team's in the back. Medical team's gonna get them, guys. Keep marching. And we're like, oh dang.
What's the challenge with it? Like, is it the terrain? Like what causes?
I think 10 weeks is not enough time to develop yourself for your body, and then you're already fatigued. They mean like common sense for working out is like, do not work out when you're fatigued. Right?
Yep.
Don't run a marathon when you're fatigued.
Yep.
We're completely exhausted. We're going on a couple hours of sleep, and they say you get 8 hours of sleep in boot camp mandatory. It's like that's what the SOP says. No, not really. Like, and then just trying to sleep next to these guys. We have guys who are snoring. We have guys who like, are just running to the bathroom left and right too, or like I don't even know if they ran to the bathroom. I think some of them just did it in their bunk. Like I swear, like they. It smelled horrendous in there. It smelled like a barnyard. Like it was, it was so bad. And to the point I ordered Febreze, and I would be spraying it like in the bay and stuff.
Beds and whatnot.
Like I'm like I have to sleep in peace. Like
that reminds me of like high school and Axe. Like you'd go in the locker room
yeah,
and nobody's
literally.
showering, but everybody's just dousing themselves in Axe, and it's like
or
Old Spice.
Yeah, it was horrendous. Dealing with these guys. And I did my best. Like you can't have cologne or anything. That's why I'm like so obsessed with cologne. I love smelling good. It's like I think I was dealing with people who smelled so bad for so long. It's one of those things like I just want to smell good. It's like my choice. Right. It's like I have like 4 different colognes right now, and
It's like you were scarred so much from the odors and the nastiness of
I just
different
hated
people
it.
that you're
yeah,
like,
I
need
hated
to smell
smelling
good.
bad. That odor, like BO odor and stuff. And it's like, and we would shower so much. Just some like we were working out all the time. And it's like, also like, are they doing laundry? Like,
Oh, yeah.
I was, and I'm like, I would even ask them like, hey guys, I'm doing a load. Like, can I throw some of your clothes in there? Like, I was just trying to encourage them. But some of them, like, notoriously, we had one dude when we went to military police, like, he just wouldn't shower, bro. He wouldn't do it. He'd say, oh, I shower at 3 a.m. If you want to really get into it, like, oh, hey, bro, SOP says you have to shower by 10 p.m. So you're not even supposed to be in the shower at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
No one got on him about that. They were like, dude, you know, obviously you don't like showering with other people. Fine, whatever. But conduct hygiene. Like, and I promise you, nobody cares. Like, that is the, I think, intuitive thought of everybody cares. Everybody's going to, like, look at you or whatever, judge you or whatever. Dude, nobody cares.
Yeah, you're
It's
all
like,
in it together, right?
Yeah.
it's like, those are your
You're a
brothers,
team.
dude. Like, if they don't feel good or they're, you know, if their self-esteem is low, whatever it is, we're going to get you there. We're going to back you up. And the sooner you can accept that, the better. I think some people are like, oh, it's competition. It's competition. No, like, dude, like, you could be the best. You could be the top shot. You could be leading the whole class and stuff. And if you are a leader, dude, you're not going to think like that. It's like all those egos exit out the door when you are one of the better leaders. And I think that was a big takeaway I loved. And you don't develop that until a little bit later. And then I also think the maturity level too. Our class leader that we had, he was a cop in the civilian sector. Dude, he was like, and a firefighter. Like, how are you both? Like, he went to both academies, and then now he's like, and I think I'm going to serve my country now. I'm like, all right, dude, we get it. Like, and then he has like 3 kids too, and we're like, all right, dude. Like, dude looks like David Goggins too, and he was such a nice guy.
So it's Captain America, literally.
Yeah, like a black Captain America. And his name was David. Like, just such a cool guy. I still have him like on Instagram. He's still like, and such a great Christian leader too. And he would always like go, hey guys, let's get a quick prayer going. And we're all like, all right, man. Like, we're like, he was just such a nice guy too. Like, some people we would be like, give him a hard time or whatever, but him, we were just like, yeah, man, let's do that. And like, and he grew up, he was a straight up, like, I wouldn't say a gangbanger, but like, he was straight up selling narcotics. He was out there like he said like, dude, I was such a messed up person before. Yeah. And he goes, you know, I found Christ. I changed my ways and stuff, and then I wanted to just give back. And I'm like, dude, I relate to that so hard. Like, I feel like back in the day, like, and people don't believe it too, but like, I was not a good dude. I was not. I'm notorious for not caring about which girl I was with, whatever. I was just like, it was all about me. I almost like narcissistic, right? It was I want to do what I want to do. I don't care about inspiring good, giving back to my community. None of that mattered to me, you know, growing up. And I think you hit a certain maturity curve, but also like actions. Just like, there's a lot of people who are all talk, and I saw that. There's a lot of people who are like, yeah, I think I want to go do that. I think that sounds like a good idea to like give back, or the idea of it feels good, but actually getting out there and doing it is so different. It's yeah.
Well, what caused that change in you? Like, what made that click? Was it your time in the military? Like,
yeah, I think to some degree it's fear. I think like, it's hard for a man to admit, like, there's fear. There's a lot of fear that we have of going out there and helping other people, and they're not going to appreciate you. There's a lot of fear where if I go do that, people are going to take advantage of me, right? There's a lot of fear if I don't put enough hours into work or something, I'm going to be broke, right? And a lot of that can lead to self-esteem. A lot of that can lead to like, I have to be selfish. I have to help myself first, then I can help other people. You can do both. You can always do both. There's always a path to inspire others, help other people grow, and still work on yourself. It took me a while to kind of figure that out, and then sometimes like, you're just so down bad too in life. There's sometimes where you're just like, no, like I need to really focus on myself before I can go out and help other people.
Right. The whole airplane motto where it's like, put your respirator on before you help someone else with their respirator.
yep.
Yeah. I think if you're at that level, yeah, like, okay, get into the fast lane, find a good mentor. Always have mentors. I think that's always been important. I've always had a lot of mentors in my life that motivate me and help cultivate me to be a better leader and stuff. And it was funny. I always knew I was always the kind of leader where I was like, let somebody else do it, and then I'll hop in, right? I'm like, let's see how they do, right? Let's let them have a shot at it first. I was always like the backup leader, right? And then I'm like, nah, I don't want to be in the spotlight and stuff. I'm good.
Right.
But then every time I've taken charge and I've done something, people are like, dude, you're good at this, bro. Keep doing it. And I have to just put myself out there more. And military helped me develop that. They're like, dude, you're solid. Keep doing this. To the point where after my deployment, they recommended me to go to officer cadet school. They're like, dude, go do it. And I'm like, you know what? I need someone to literally sit there and tell me to go do it. That's how it is with me sometimes, where I'm like, my mind's made up. I want to go execute it and stuff, but sometimes someone has to just be like, yeah, you're doing it. Like, there's no exceptions, you know? And putting yourself in that situation is even better. That's why that cold silence, just execute, right? Just stop talking and go execute it and stuff. Every time I've done that, I've come out on top. And like, you go through tribulations, you go through struggle, but that is ultimately how to come through it.
Yeah. What I wanted to ask you, because I know that I was messaging you during the time that you were deployed in Kuwait, and there was a lot of tough stuff that you dealt with over there. What was probably the toughest thing that you probably dealt with in Kuwait? Because it was during the time that it was the whole Israel, Iran, Gaza thing. So there was a lot of missiles in the air. You guys were super close. So what was the toughest thing that you feel like you ran into over there?
I think there's like three. If I had to name the top three like toughest parts about the entire deployment, I think the first step was going, right? The way it all kind of went down. Because remember, I was saying earlier, like with the recruiter, he was like, man, you're never going to deploy. That's never going to happen.
Right.
And it's like, oh, well, then I end up going to Kuwait and Iraq. I'm like, you know, I probably wouldn't have signed back then. I think that I would have gone in my head at the time. How it happened is my buddy Cole, he was part of 96 with me, which is like our San Diego unit. So you kind of have your primary unit when you first, get out of AIT, when you graduate and everything. You get assigned to your unit. And luckily, when I was San Diego, my parents are like 20 minutes away. So I'm like, oh, this is going to work out perfect. Cole hits me up and he goes, hey, man, we had 3 people fall out of this deployment that we're going on. And they were already in Texas. So everybody leaves out of Fort Bliss. They fly out of there. And then they go to, that's like the training grounds for anyone who goes to the Middle East.
Right.
And they were already there. They were about to take off. And he was like, hey, dude, like, we're about to get there. And he goes, we had 3 people drop out. And it's kind of weird because now, like, in 2025, or I guess this is 2024, right? You can just, like, opt out. You don't have to go on deployments anymore. They're not like super,
wow.
They're not mandatory. But if you have if you have like the right reason, and they're going to consider that, because like the amount of cost to send somebody back home for mental health or suicidal or you name it, it completely outweighs the cost of, hey, we're just going to keep you out of this one, right? And then also, like, you're not going to be an asset, right, to the mission.
Yep.
So we try to send, or Big Army tries to send the best guys in every unit to go out there and do like these hard deployments and stuff. I would too. It's like, you're looking at it from a leadership standpoint. Hey, like, let's, in a way, we're just kind of, American taxpayers are paying for us. Like, let's send our best guys, put your best players into the game.
Right.
So he calls me up and he goes, hey, man, we're making a lot of money, dude. It's like a really good deal, tax-free income. You're gonna make like $8 to $10 grand a month and stuff. I'm like, oh, dude, yeah, that sounds really good. And me, like, when I'm looking at my credit card debt, I'm like, yeah, dude, where do I sign? Like, I'm like, and that kind of that was that extra motivation for me at the time, like finances wise, where I was like, okay, yeah, I guess I could go, right? And that kind of overtakes that fear factor where you're like, oh, thanks, Frankie. He's handing me the drink. That will definitely, I think, overcome that fear where you're like, oh man, like, what if like I need my family needs me? What if that? Well, I'm making a lot, so I could probably just send the money, right? Like, is what you're thinking. Like, let me solve the money problem first, and then I'll take care of everything else. So originally it was like finances, where I was like, okay, that kind of pushed me to go do it. And it's funny, like, relationship wise, I wasn't in a relationship until like I was out there, right? Like, Sarah and I went on a couple dates, and that was it. Like, we didn't really like establish anything yet. Like, we were obviously in communication, but it wasn't like, oh, I have a girlfriend, and I didn't think I was gonna have a girlfriend when I was out there too. So that kind of went into fruition too when I was there, and I was like, okay, man, yeah, let's do it. And this is after I got employee of the month with my company too. I was already like killing as a supervisor. I had gotten promoted in June, and it was great. I was running my team up and everything. They loved me. And then I remember I got the news and I got quiet. My guys, I was always telling jokes with them. Like I was always like, we were going back and forth and everything. So then there was one night I was quiet and they're like, they go, hey, Ruchman, are you good, bro? And they like came in, like my guys, I was like, hey, let's have a quick meeting. They're like, oh. And like they all kind of were like, and I was completely in charge. Like for my site, I was fully doing the scheduling. I had other supervisors there. They were reporting to me. Like I was completely the one in charge. And I had it in with management. My boy John was managing too. And he loved me. Like he heard and his heart fell. He was like, he, you know, he had a son that served in the Marine Corps. He served in the Navy 13 years. This is my boss. And he now he was doing this as the senior account manager, and you know he had like 100 guys under him, right? He was leading all of that, and his son served in the Marine Corps, and he actually died in the line of duty, right?
Oh wow.
And he looked at me and said, you know, my son would be your age right now, Daniel. And he goes, you remind me so much of my son. And I'm like, thank you, sir, I really appreciate that. Before I left, he had when I told him the news, dude, the whole room got quiet. He was like, oh, you're going on deployment. And he's like, okay, how about you meet here tomorrow, same time, and we rehash this and stuff. He goes, I just need to like kind of take this in right now. I was like, okay, good to go, sir. So I come in, dude, they all had a whole letter for me. Everybody threw in some cash and stuff too. I got like an extra,
nice,
they threw in an extra like $200. Everybody signed that letter. Like that was so cool. And that felt really good. Like I cultivated this team. I built my team, and saying goodbye to them was really hard. I was like, dang, like I built all this, and I was like, dang, like, but I was like, this is the sacrifice you make. This is like, you have to just get up, move everything into storage. Everything in my life was just put into that storage unit, and I'm like, all right, here we go.
Oh yeah, because you had like your apartment, you had all your stuff.
So when you have orders,
you're gonna be out there for a while.
The orders will subdue a lease. So like, if you have any lease, it could be a leased car too. You could just drop your car off at the dealership. That's pretty cool. So I was like, oh, I should have done that. I should have had like a Mercedes or something, but whatever. If I do another deployment, I'm for sure like, oh, I'll get a Lamborghini for 2 months or whatever. And then you'd be like, hey, you guys have to take the keys back.
Like, hey, sorry, I'm going to be deployed.
Here's my orders. And they're like, bro, really? Okay, whatever. So moved everything to storage, and it started getting real. I was like, okay. And it was funny. Sarah didn't even believe me in the beginning too. She's like, you're not really going on a deployment. She's like, he just wants to break up or whatever. Like whatever it was in the beginning. She's like, and I remember I showed her my apartment. It was completely cleared out. She's like, that's when it hit her. She's like, oh my God.
It's serious.
She's like, he's
actually going.
Yeah. And I'm just like, I literally had like a little air mattress, and she goes, oh my God. He wasn't kidding. I was like, literally, I've been sleeping on the floor. And then she laughed at me. She was just like, and then she was kind of scared at that point. She was like, wait, you're actually leaving? And I'm like, I leave in like a couple days. And yeah, that was that was obviously hard at that time, and I was so lost too. In a way, I'm like, I've never done this. I was a brand new sergeant. Like, come October 1st, that's when I got promoted.
So you had just slowly like gotten up to that position, and then now you're pretty much going to be.
I felt like I felt like I was a sergeant with no merit. I didn't do anything to earn those stripes yet. I was about to. Let me tell you, like now all that was going to be put to the test. And that's what made me feel confident too. I'm like, they trust me to lead. They trust, like, there are soldiers counting on me to go out there and be their leader and to take charge and stuff. And that's a lot of pride. That's like, okay, I'm ready for this. All my training's come up to this moment. That's why I need to go do this. Mm-hmm. And then, like, believe me, when I got on that flight to leave, dude, I got emotional, dude. I would say, I can be a pretty emotional guy, and that hit me so hard. I remember like the plane was taking off, and it was an Emirates flight too, so it was pretty nice. Let's say.
Oh, okay.
So I got red blankets. I was getting all this food and stuff. So when I got on the flight, oh yeah, all the emotions went away. I was like, oh man, this is sick, dude. They're hooking us up. It's like a $5,000 flight that they're sending me out there, because I left CRC, which is like after I went to Texas, did my training and stuff to prepare for the deployment, pre-mob, right? I got on a flight with all officers, like majors, high ups. So it was an Emirates flight. So I'm just like, and I'm the one sergeant on there. And I remember that this is where it's like, oh, the rank started applying, where they're like, they came up to me and they're like, hey, do we have any sergeants here? And I'm just like, looking around. I'm like, oh wait, that's me.
Me in the corner.
Like, I forgot I was a sergeant. I was like, oh wait. So I raised my hand. I'm like, yes sir. And then he's like, hey, there's some soldiers in the back there. They're all gonna report to you. And I'm like, like isn't there like somebody else who should do that? Like in my head, I was like, what I'm thinking. I'm like, oh dude, you're the sergeant. Like, hey, like start acting your role. And I'm like, yes sir, I'll take care of it. And then he goes, all right, good to go, sergeant. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm sergeant. Like, okay, like that was one of the first times I've heard someone say sergeant. Like when
there's like 50 people in the back at the economy
it was
that
all,
you're in charge of now.
Yeah, so like they put me in charge of these guys there. There wasn't a lot. I think it was like maybe like, I think it was like 10 guys or something. But like, I don't know any of these dudes.
Right,
and then
yeah.
so I go back there and I'm like, and right off the bat, I'm gonna be like, I was kind of like, hey, what up, guys? Hey, like I'm Sergeant Ruchman. Like, hey, are we good? You guys have your blankets? You have your waters? And like I started doing kind of like sergeant jokes where I'm just like, do I need to get you guys sippy cups or are you guys good to go? Like, because I want to get some sleep, right? And they're like, oh yes, sergeant. They're all like responding and stuff. I was like, all right, you guys need me. I'm gonna be over here. All right, is everyone tracking? They're like, yes, sergeant. I was like, all right, but like seriously, you guys need me. Like, come get me. Like, and then that like nice side of me comes out.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm trying to separate the two. I'm like, okay, do I go hardcore? Do I like, you know? But they were cool with it. They're like, okay, he's chill. And then one of them ended up talking to me. He was kind of worried. He's like, you know, he told me about his marriage and everything too. So I gave him some good advice. And then he went back and I was like, okay, cool. And it's like, I thought I was going to be sleeping on this flight. I ended up like talking to these soldiers, you know, it's like, that kind of hit me too. And I'm like, oh dude, like I'm the mentor now. Like I got to start filling these shoes and I got to do it well. People are depending on me and do my job well. So that's where like, it was hard. Sarah would be calling me late at night and stuff. And like I had to go downstairs because I didn't want to disturb the other guys talking. And I love talking to her. She like made my whole deployment. And I would be like, hey, like I need to get more sleep. Like my guys are depending on me tomorrow and stuff. Like it's kind of like a surgeon before they go into work, right? And people are depending on them to do their job well,
right?
Like to do well in surgery and do all that stuff. It's like, people are paying me to do my job well, and it's like I need to perform, you know. And if I'm screwed up, my guys below me are gonna be like, oh, dude, this guy, he doesn't care. Like, let's just show up and like totally screw off at work today or whatever. And it's like, but if I'm on it and I'm motivated, I'm working hard, they're gonna work hard. And I kind of started to figure that out too. I've always been someone who shows up to work and takes it seriously, but showing up at the right time is important. It's like if you're ever late, I think there was one time I was almost about to sleep in. My buddy Cole comes and wakes me up. He goes, hey, we're doing I was in charge. I was the sergeant in charge for like doing a PT thing and for a PT test. And I was in charge of setup and everything. And he was on my team. And he comes and wakes me up. Dude, I am like so disgruntled. I'm like, wait, what do you mean we have it? It's today? I had an alarm. And I look at my alarm. It didn't go off an hour ago. And I'm like, oh. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to go shave really quick. Cole, I need you to go grab all the guys. Cole was below me in rank. But he was so solid. This guy was like,
it's like I got your back.
He was like my second in charge. He grabs everything, and then he saw I was like kind of freaking out, and then I'm drinking my Monster. I remember I'm like, I gotta pop a Monster, and then I started drinking that, and then I'm like, all right, can one of you guys grab me a coffee too? They're like, didn't you just drink a Monster? And I'm like, I'm gonna need another coffee. And like, so I grab another coffee.
It's gonna be a day.
Yeah, it's gonna be a day.
They're like, oh, okay. They're like, sergeants drink a lot of coffee. That's good. So like, I get all that down. They go execute the PT test. Everything went really well. And I remember my soldier like was kind of late, so I was in charge of my team and stuff, and they were kind of like late coming out, and they're coming up to me, and they're just like, well, you have all this you had all this caffeine and stuff. They're like, that's why we were late and stuff, and I'm like, what? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And I'm just like, and she's like, well, not all of us are like you or whatever. And that's when it started to hit me. I'm like, oh dang, like I'm doing something right. Like they're saying we're not like you. We're not as motivated as you and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but you will be one day. You're going to have stripes one day. You need to fill these shoes.
Right,
and like, I started talking about that passion for being an NCO and stuff like that, or non-commissioned officers. So officers who do commission are called a commissioned officer or CO. So you have a CO of a company, you have a CO of your unit and stuff, company commander. And so I'm like, one day you will be in my shoes. And
kind of like how you did it with the person that you were trying to help out with, like trying to be a supervisor one day with the Excel sheets, time cards and all that stuff. Like you're kind of giving them that guidance, like, yeah, you're not there yet, but start taking the steps to get to that point.
Yeah. And this is just like very basic leadership I'm talking about. This is like entry level leadership. So I'm not trying to exaggerate like what I did. Like I was just a team leader. There's squad leader who's above me. There's a sergeant that's like in control of our entire squad and stuff.
Right.
That's staff sergeant, so that's one rank above me. And then by the end of it, like I'll just get straight to it, but I was wearing like 6 different hats. And not due to choice, let me tell you. Like originally I was like, okay, they have me out there. They're like, you're going to be the unit armor and stuff. And I'm like, didn't you already have a unit armor? Because like I'm kind of coming out here late, right? I thought all the roles were picked already. And they're like, no, we just never assigned one. And I'm like, oh God. So I'm like, okay. So I'm in charge of all the weapons. So accountability for all that. So I'm like, oh, that seems like a pretty big role. And then it turned from that to, hey, dude, we're always going to throw you an S6. And I'm like, S6, like tech, like I came out here to be like Geek Squad and stuff. So I'm in charge of all laptops, radios, all levels of communication. Okay, cool. So I was first the assistant on that. So I was just helping one of the other sergeants out with that. Well, time comes, he was dealing with like a law back home. Mm-hmm. Basically, he goes to the chaplain and tells the chaplain, like, I don't feel comfortable holding a weapon. I think I'm going to do something with it. Mm-hmm. Chaplain says, okay. Goes to the commander, gets orders to go send him home. And I end up taking over his soldiers and his position. So now I'm completely in charge of the S6 sector. So now I'm unit armor, S6, NCOIC, so non-commissioned officer in charge. And then I was also in charge of fleet management. So I was in charge, so that's my third hat. And then I was also team leader, police sergeant, right? So I'm running my own team already too. So like all these hats just kind of kept getting tossed onto me. It gets worse. Now I'm fully in the TOC. So TOC is like, for military terms, is like the headquarters, right? And that's like where your officers are going to be, right? So that's going to be like our lieutenant, our commander. So we had 2 officers, and they're running operations. They're doing all that stuff. We have an ops team too. And so then that ops team, they put them out to some schoolhouse for more training and stuff. So guess who has to fill in for the ops team? It's like, then that hat got thrown over to me, and I'm like, dude, I'm doing a lot of stuff. But the captain, so we have a major who's company commander. Below her is a captain. So a lieutenant or captain will be your XO. That's executive officers. So they're running like all the operations inside the TOC. So lieutenant life is pretty chill. You're just in an air conditioned room. You're deployed, quote unquote. But you're just like a Teams warrior. You're just on Microsoft. You're doing all that stuff.
You're doing all the admin stuff.
All the admin stuff. You're in charge of your soldiers, their welfare, making sure they're taking their shots. They're, hey, like, do you guys need help with anything else? Or scheduling things. You're basically forecasting, better or less, in advance. And I'm like, dude, this is like a 9 to 5 type deal. Monday through Friday, weekends they had off. And I'm like, what? So they kind of throw me into here. And I'm like, this isn't too bad. Well, I get really close to my captain. Like she's actually the one who recommended me for OCS and everything. And they're like, she likes to micromanage. She likes to do that. And I didn't see that. She was a mom. She's a proud mom. She had 4 kids. And her husband was a major too. And no, she also worked in corrections and stuff. Like she had an incredible resume. And I was getting mentored by her. And I was just like, teach me. I'd go in there and stuff. And I was just all about it. And help me develop and learn, and she loved me. She would call me Rutchie. She was like, Rutchie, come in here and stuff. And like, we're going by like first name basis at this point. She's a captain. Awesome. Yeah, like they really wanted me there. And I'm just like, guys, like, why are you guys having such a hard time like taking orders from the captain? They're like, oh, well, she's not like us. The enlisted side really has this weird like, it gets kind of political in a way where they're like, oh, we earned everything we did in the military. They haven't had any hardships. So it's almost like that. We're talking about socioeconomic status, right? Because yes, they do get paid more than us as officers. They get paid almost double, right? They're making great money. And they're probably like, well, they get paid all this money to just sit in the operations. We're doing all the hard work. So their NCOs, sergeants are known as the backbone of the Army, right? Whereas they kind of the spearhead. They're kind of leading it from the front, disseminate the information. You guys go lead it, go execute it. And that's what the sergeants are for. So we're kind of just in charge of our small teams, and we get it done. Kind of, you look at like, I don't know, you want to look at like a company or something. You have your middle management. That's us. And then they are like the CEOs. They're the CEO.
The C-suites.
Yeah, they're definitely like C-level executives, right? Yep. Kind of running it up and everything. And then they're in meetings all the time, Zoom meetings with Colonel. So now, like, okay, so we're looking at this coin right here, right? This is the coin they gave us, but you'll see. Actually, not on this coin. It was on this one. So you'll see that they have the Colonel rank on there, right? This is the coin that the Colonel gave me at the end of tour when I finished. They're going to be completely in charge of the entire base. So like my company major right here was reporting to this person.
Oh, okay.
So they would give out the reports and stuff. And basically, he just is like glazing us. Like the entire time, he's just like, look at my guys, they're doing this. And he just sends metrics reports on what we're getting done and everything. And then sends a nice heavy email. And then they're like, wow, look what this team's getting done and everything. And it's pretty cool. And to the point, like, I got so close with him. He was the major. He was a special agent in the FBI in the civilian sector. So, like, this guy, again, like, incredible resume. Before he became said major, he was an EOD tech. So that's like EOD, right? Like
the explosive ordnance disposal,
doing all that. Like, this guy is the definition of badass. Like, what was that? Hurt Locker, right?
Hurt Locker, yeah, that was a good movie about it. EOD.
Literally, this guy has 100% disability. His neck from putting out so many bombs. He can barely move his neck like this. He was telling me, and he's a young guy. He's only like 36, and I'm
wow,
yeah, and totally like already a major, crazy, and then
crazy.
FBI special agent too. And then there was one time he was like I always like to say the word, oh, I'll die on a hill for this or whatever. He was the one saying that to me all the time. So I kind of looked up to him. He was a cool dude. One time he came into my office, and at one point I had my own office with an award picture. It was a black and white picture because the guys were funny, and they're like, "Hey, this is Ruchman's office." I had my own room. Like, I moved up pretty quick during the deployment. Like, at one point now I'm like in the talk. I have my own office. I have a code to get into the office and everything. So it was cool. And then like my soldiers, if they had to work on stuff, I'm like, yeah, meet me at my office. I'll have you guys fill out your paperwork and stuff like that. I had those kind of perks now. So. There was one time he knocks on my door, and I go, yes, sir. I reported to him, and he goes, here's this tape measure. I need you to go measure stuff outside. So we basically, our mission, we were running the jail out there and doing patrol. So
gotcha.
If we had inmates, we had like two, they would report there, and we would book them and have an incarceration. But he was like, he had this tape measure. I'm measuring all this stuff, and I go, and timing is key, like when you want to ask questions. So after we measure it all and everything, I get the measurements for him, and he's like smiling, and I'm like, sir, permission to speak. He goes, yeah, go ahead, Sergeant. And I'm like, why are we measuring all this? And he goes, oh, well, I'm putting in a pool in my house in Arizona. So he goes, it appears I was making $14,000 a month out here. So all that money I'm putting away, my wife wants a pool. What do you think about that? And I'm just like, you can crack up. There's appropriate timing for that and stuff. And I'm just like, oh wow, that's really awesome. She must be really lucky to have you. And he goes, well, yeah, that's marriage for you. You have to put a lot of work into it, and then she reaps all the benefits. And I'm like, okay, sir, yeah, like good to go.
So he pretty much had you do the schematics for a pool out there.
Wow. Yeah, and then he goes, go ahead and email me all that information. I'm going to tell the guy to get started on the construction and everything. And goes, how great is that? I'm going to come home to a pool and a margarita in my pool. He goes, I don't know what you're coming home to, Ruchman, but I'm having a great time. And I'm like, yes, sir, that sounds awesome. And I'm like,
that's hilarious.
And he was one of those guys where like, he was fun, dude. He bought me a whole thing of beet juice and stuff, and then he would come into my like random times. He would come into my office, like, and I could be on a phone call. I could be like sitting on emails. I could be doing stuff, talking to my team. He doesn't care. He'd come in and goes, Ruchman. He goes, get 2 beet juices ready, like the powder and stuff. We're gonna chug these right now. And I'm like, yeah, sir, you got it. I'd get it ready and stuff. Like, this guy had some sort of like ADHD or something. Like, it was
probably.
And then there was one time he came over and just said, I'm so done with the captain. Ruchman, go handcuff her right now. And I'm like, sir, you want me to handcuff the captain? He goes, yes, I want you to handcuff her. She's annoying me right now. Go handcuff her to the wall. And I'm like, right now? And he goes, what did I just tell you? And I'm like, yes, sir. So I grabbed handcuffs and I literally handcuffed her to the wall.
Oh, you actually did it.
Yeah. Like, I was like, sorry, ma'am. And she goes, no, I understand. And like, put her to the wall. And he goes, you are in timeout until you can figure out how to finish this Excel sheet by today. He goes, you're kidding me. He goes, you're not done until this is. And he goes, I have the key right here. Sergeant Ruchman will unlock you when you finally finish your Excel sheet and stuff and email it to me. And I'm like, okay. Like, he would do crazy stuff like that.
That's funny and kind of crazy, but also I feel like I would have fun if that was happening. Like, if your boss is like that, it's kind of like silly, but
low-key was a psychopath. Like,
yeah.
There was like times where I'm like, I think it's getting to him. Like,
yeah, I think the heat is getting to him.
Yeah, I'm just like, this is such a crazy environment. But he took us out to like lunch and stuff, and like that was cool. Like, we'd be driving the vehicle with him, and they had like restaurants there and stuff. He's like, "Hey guys, it's on me again." He goes, "Because who else was it on?" Like he would kind of put it out there, like, "I have more money than you guys."
Right.
And he was cool. Like when we got back home, we had like the Sanitarian Lounge, right, in Baltimore Airport, and he was like, "Guys, 2 drinks max." And then he goes, we got into the lounge, and I'm like, "Hey guys, Cap, Sarge's coming in right now. Everyone, just be tracking." So we had like a couple guys in there with us, and my buddies and I already had a couple drinks, right? We're like, we hadn't had a drink in 9 months, and we were celebrating, and they had an omelet bar. They had all this cool stuff. Like the Sanitarian Lounge is insane, because I had the Chase Sapphire Reserve. So I got my buddy in, he got his friend in. So we're enjoying ourselves. And so he comes in, he sees us drinking, and he goes, "So did you guys already surpass your 2 drinks?" And we're like, "No, sir, we just had 1 or whatever." And he goes, "Well, that's okay." He goes, "That rule only applies to all the peasants outside of the lounge." And I'm like, okay.
Dang.
Yeah, he was like one of those guys. He shoots from the hip, and he goes, "We're gonna enjoy ourselves. I just want to say I'm really proud of you guys." Right? And he like gave this whole motivational speech and everything, and like he goes, "Why are you guys still looking at me? Go grab drinks. Like enjoy yourselves." And we're like, "Oh, okay." And like when he came in, we were messing with him too. We all had FBI hats on too, because one of the guys, he goes, "Yo, let's mess with him and let's all get the FBI hats." And then so we're all in this like corner, and we're like, "Sir, welcome to the meeting. We were expecting you," and stuff. And he starts cracking up, and he goes, "Wow." He goes, "If there was a better group of guys that I could hate, it would be you guys right now." Because you guys make the top of the list of my hate right now. And we're like, and it kind of would get quiet. We're waiting for him to say something next. He's like, "Oh, I already started drinking without me." He goes, "Expected. That was expected out of you guys," and stuff. And
So you got these out there, right?
yeah. So this is like, that's why I brought it. So this is boot camp. You can kind of see this is the coin they gave me when I was out there.
Oh, okay.
What I love about these coins too, it's like they're all earned, right? But they tell a story in itself. It's kind of like the medals too. Like when you look at someone's uniform, you see all these ribbons and stuff. A lot of them are campaign medals, and you're like, you can see where they went. So it's like for me, if I look at someone's uniform, if I see a Purple Heart, if I see like, hey, they've been to Iraq, they've been to Middle East in general, or they have an overseas ribbon over 9 months, right? It tells a story in itself, and that's like what's so cool about these coins too. This coin too, this one my major gave to me, and you can already see like there's a surfboard on there. There's
this is your basic combat training
from boot camp, yeah.
From boot camp in Oklahoma, and then it says loyalty, duty, respects, selfless service, honor, integrity, personal courage, and then
those are the Army values too.
This will defend, and it's the American flag and the state.
Army slogan,
cool.
This will defend, and then the Army values are all on there too. So pretty cool.
This one for
the
those who
Field
can't see it.
Center.
Yeah, so that was the jail that we were running
324th Military
in
Police
Kuwait, and
Battalion.
if you look, so 324th was actually from Fresno, California. So pretty far away from the beach. So, of course, the commander was like, we're from California. We need to have a surfboard on our coin. And like,
also, he had say on how it was made.
Totally. Yeah.
Oh,
this is
okay.
all on his discretion. So
I like how there's like a helicopter, a surf, a wave, a surfer, and then military police with a shield.
Yeah.
And then on the other side is a double
I like
guns.
that, the shift up.
Yeah, shifts up. And like when I
shifts
first got there, I was like, are they saying shits up? Like I'm like, so I didn't even know what the word, because like he would basically enter the room. We all go to attention. They're like room attention, and then like he would come in, and then like when he would leave, you say shifts up, and so like. I was like, shit's
like
up?
your shift is up, like
shifts
over.
up. Yeah.
Like your shift is over.
Yeah, basically,
okay.
like he's like, all right, shift's up, and then he would leave, and like that was our thing we would say with him. He probably thought he was cool, but it's cool, like
Yeah. And then this last one.
This is the one they gave me. This is like a huge coin, right? This is the one the colonel gave all of us for end of tour. Mm-hmm. So you get like, man. So there's some medals where like. If you want to call them participation medals, sure, because you showed up, you did a great job, whatever. Coins, though, however, are all earned, and that's why sometimes a coin means more than a medal to us.
Oh,
right?
This one rotates.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. So we were serving ASKU, so Camp Air John. This is their headquarters and stuff. So because we were under them,
that's cool.
The colonel came in and actually presented our end of tour awards and stuff. End of tour. really cool. You do 9 months out wherever you deploy to and stuff, and based on what you got accomplished, you have like bullet points, and they put you in for awards. So I received my first like earned so that was my second RCOM award. So like you actually see like when I put on my uniform and stuff, there's an oak leaf clover over that one ribbon now, the green ribbon. That's like for Army Commendation Medal, since I have 2 of them now. So it's like,
nice.
and some people have like, it's crazy on their uniforms. They have like stacked oak leaves. I'm sure like you talk about these iconic guys like Goggins, Tim Kennedy, you know, they have stacked oak leaves on these medals and stuff.
Right. And the oak leaf, what was it again?
It would be like a second award. So you've received your second. So you could have stacked oak leaves on the same award. And I've seen like 4 oak leaves on one person before.
Dang.
So it's like, it's pretty cool. You know, it means like
wild.
they've done a lot of tours. They've learned a lot of high medals. RCOM's a good one, you know. 10 point.
I like that one because it's like the full-on eagle flag with what do you think? What does the A stand for?
America?
ASG, or it was ASU
rotates?
command. Yeah, so that was like the command that was out there. So like,
okay.
So Camp Air John,
Group.
Air so yeah. So many acronyms. I'm
And
like,
then I noticed on here it also has the same language from the basic training one. So are those like pillars of the Army, the loyalty, duty?
yeah. So yeah, those are your
service,
Army values. So like all those stuff, and it goes into that too. So like even when you like write up, so this is getting into like the nit and gritty of like how we like grade people, or how like you get like essentially a report card, right? When you grade your guys and then you put them up for awards. It goes under all of those things. So like duty, how do they present themselves duty wise? How do they do loyalty? How do they do respect? Education, like there's certain things that they contribute and stuff. And then all of that will align when you fill out their counseling and stuff, and you'll write like bullet points down there and stuff, examples of what they did. And all, like your being intellectual too, like there will be a category for that, how they contribute to that and stuff. So it's cool. Like that's why I think it's so rewarding to move up in the ranks.
Right.
Then you actually start to do your position better. You actually start to like, without leadership, like I don't think Army's that fun. You know, there's people who get out and it makes you like reassess the way they look at their service, because like they never took that next step. They were so close.
Right.
They were so close to moving up, where they were too scared to move up. And it's so rewarding to like move up. I think in anything, like in a company too, you move up in a company and you're like, wait, dude, I'm getting paid more. And I'm like, there's more meaning coming out of it.
More responsibilities, but it comes with more benefits. As well.
Your productivity goes through the roof. You're looking at like all the stuff you're accomplishing. You're like, dude, we're actually doing something now. And then you start to forecast like next week too. It's not just like what they tell you. It's like, hey, we're part of the planning now. We're part of the operation.
Yeah, like you have almost like your say goes into play now.
Yeah, absolutely. And like every week we had a weekly meeting. It was called the Cub, and then like when they would call it the Grizzly Bear whenever we had like a bigger meeting or whatever. Like it was so dumb. Like some of the
like
stuff,
a baby cub, and then
like a baby. Yeah, it would be
bear.
like, oh, we have the Cub coming up, and like the language we would use is just like again, we break it down to be dummy proof for people. So it's like if I'm telling my soldiers like, hey, I'm at the Cub right now, and they're like, oh, he's at a small meeting right now,
right?
And it's like, yeah. I'm at the Cub, and so like, and then I'd have to get my PowerPoint section ready. You go up there and present everything, and like public speaking too. For me, like everyone thinks it comes naturally to me, and like I can get up there, and like I've done a class in front of 180 soldiers and stuff, but I need to rehearse it. That's the thing for me.
Right,
like I need to get it down in writing. I need to practice. Otherwise, I'm gonna get up there and be like, oh yeah, I haven't looked at this PowerPoint. By the way, here's what we're gonna do today. And like I remember we would role play and kind of go through how we would teach things, and I think the best thing you do is work out scenarios too. That's so fun to do practical scenarios and stuff.
Yeah, because it prepares you for any situation that can arise. And I wanted as we get closer to ending this, you gave me this a while back. I think at Danny's no, not Danny's, Alex's bachelor party. Now that we have all the coins out, I always have this one here because I'm like, oh, this one was cool, and it's pretty much says hunting ISIS until the last one with a whole bunch of skulls.
Is that pretty cool?
And then so you brought me that one from over there.
Yeah.
I know that since when you were in Kuwait, you even sent me a photo of the the missiles that were in there.
Yeah.
When you were out there, so
Yeah.
that was like an early morning shot that you took when you sent me that.
Yeah, so like that last month, so Kuwait in general, there was a lot of like cool, there's pools, there's a lot of cool amenities out there and stuff. Like they had a
Right.
golf course too. So like Kuwait, like the movie theater, they had all this like cool amenities for you. The moment the missiles started going off, everything changed. Like once all that tension with Iran and Israel started popping off, the deployment became real. It became, we are now in a combat environment. We are
Right.
now going to be wearing our full kit everywhere we go. Obviously on patrol, we were in full kit already, but full helmet, full like battle rattle where you have your M4 on you, you have your M17, you have all your weapons on you and stuff too. So it was getting more intense for sure. And to the point where like the sirens would go off and the stuff is blaring loud. And it would like shake you. Like and it always happened at night. Like we're always trying to sleep and then it's going off and it's waking you up again. And you're like, okay, I gotta get my boots on, I gotta get all my gear on and stuff, and then out the door. To the extent where we thought we were gonna do a full mass evacuation, right? It was getting to the point where we had enough intelligence that was telling our commander that, and higher ups, right, that they were gonna attack Kuwait. That we were one of the bases with the highest level of population where they caused mass amount of damage to mass amount of lives and stuff. We were ready for a mass cal. So we had blood banks ready, like filled with blood in these
Dang.
blood banks. We were asking for blood donations like daily, right, to build up enough blood supply if need be for a
Yes,
mass
yeah.
cal. We were running mass cal practices. Like our medic was like constantly on high alert. He was constantly doing more and more trainings, getting ready to basically like seeing limbs getting ripped off, whatever it might be and stuff. So the whole notion got serious, right? To the point where we had to evacuate from. We were in an I bay, which is like all the firefighters, police, and medic were put in I bay, which is like the nicest housing. Like, dude, I had my own room. I was mad chilling. Like when I was out there, I was like, okay, we're getting paid a lot of money, and I have my own room. I now get to work in an air conditioned office. Like at one point, I was like, okay, this isn't that bad. Like I'm working hard, but high benefits, and I'm gonna come home soon. So I'm in my head. I'm like, I started kind of coming to peace. Like by May and stuff, I was feeling pretty good. That tension kept happening. We're reading the news. We're going, it sounds like Trump's gonna do something. It sounds like, the president's gonna retaliate. It sounds like he's not gonna take this crap. And I trust our leadership. I trust what we had as our commander in chief. But I was like, I think we're gonna go into war. I was thinking like in all of what we were being told, we're thinking World War III is in the corner. We're like, this is what's gonna happen. We're gonna be out here longer. We had a meeting one time where they pulled us and they said, okay, we're doing this mass evacuation. We're gonna be leaving. We're gonna go into Zone 6, which is like, actually, let me backtrack. So they had us go move into the jail. And he's like, they want us to move to Zone 6 with all the peasants. He was saying, he's like, we're going to be in like out in these exposed barracks. And like, he's like, I don't want to go there. So the commander's like, I'll move you guys into the jail. How does that sound? And we're like, okay. The jail was sick, actually. The showers were really nice over there and stuff. We had enough supply in that facility to last us for months. So,
In case they actually attacked.
and for the inmates too. And we didn't
well.
have any inmates. So like we literally had enough supply where we're like, we don't need to do a supply run. We're good. We can just start using our own inventory. And that's what we started doing. And then we had enough housing. So we had another MP unit. They started housing with us too. But then like the colonel got on him and was like, dude, you understand like the airfield's right behind you. You understand the police station's right next to you. And you understand that the hospital's all right there. If a missile comes in, literally all you guys are dead. And then, which is why you should have taken my advice and evacuated to Zone 6. So we were in Zone 1. Zone 6 was right across. Zone 4 is where the jail was.
Right.
And the commander's like, oh, you guys are so annoying. So he finally was like, fine, I'm going to evacuate to Zone 6. So we literally were like hopping around, like moving from place to place to place.
Zone to zone.
Yeah, and it's like, pack everything you have. Put it in here. Have your duffels. Have your kit and stuff like that. I got pulled in because my soldier, I trusted them. Like, I thought I trained them enough to be like, hey, discipline, like, have your stuff ready to go. They had a 96-hour pack where, like, you need to have all those items in there. And they pulled her aside. She didn't even have her plates on her. She didn't have her kit or anything. And they go, who's your sergeant? And they're like, oh, Ruchman. And so I got pulled in. Literally, like, dude, my face is, like, turning red. I'm like, she didn't have anything. And they're like, yeah, dude, so you want to explain that for us? And I'm like, so it's not on her. It's on me.
It's on you, yeah.
Right. I'm supposed to be in charge. I'm like, I take full accountability. And they said, as you should. They're like, go get her prepared right now. And I'm like, won't happen again. They're like, they give me this look like it's never gonna happen again. Like, and I'm like, okay. So I had her all situated and everything, but it's like, yeah, it was one of those, like, you guys asked about one of the harder times. That was a hard time for me. I had to swallow a tough pill there. I was like, damn, like, I was so invested in getting my stuff ready, and, you know, I forgot about my soldier. And that was an awful feeling. I'm like, and probably it was late night phone calls didn't help either, but, you know, but it's fine.
Sleep deprived, and then having to deal with not only you making mistakes, but other people making mistakes, and still be accountable and owning up to.
Yeah, you have to own it. You have to own it, and I did, and that's why they probably were cool about it. And they were like, "All right, dude, like he feels bad about it," which is what they wanted out of it. They were like, "Okay, cool, dude, make it happen." We're like, "Okay." And then they had like 6 other tasks on me too, like 6 other hats I was wearing. I had all the radios and stuff too, so I'm handing out radios to the commander. I had like, instead of mags inside my kit, I had radios. I had all the radios and stuff, and then I had the radio charging console. I had it in like a duffel, and then I was carrying that everywhere I went. And I'm like, okay, you need to charge your radio? Here you go. Like, I was like Geek Squad, straight up like throwing radios at people and stuff. And then if anything goes
like
missing,
yeah,
it was like, all right, you need a radio, you get a radio and stuff. And like, it was cool, and because I was just your comps guy and stuff, and that's like, you always have someone in the unit with all that stuff, so you never think about all this like information and stuff. So when we woke up that morning, we were already in the so we had already evacuated to the bunkers, and we started hearing now it was in the morning now, where it's like sunrise and the missiles are going off. We're like, oh, this is really bad, right? Because we're like, something's happening. Why are they not doing a night strike? Why are they doing the daytime? That's what people do in war. Right. And go out there. We're taking accountability of our guys. I'm like making sure my squad gets out there. They're good. And then we all like look up into the sky, and we saw the 13 Patriot missiles hit, and that countered them. And they went far enough into our airspace where we sent our own missiles against it. And I'm like, oh, man.
Stopped in midair.
Yeah. So they were heading to Israel. Every missile they fired up until Qatar was all heading to Israel, and every time the sirens go off, it was all heading to Israel. So part of that is like, you had to ingrain that in your head, like, it's not for us, it's for Israel. But
you never know. One rogue
really
one
never
could
know.
go flying into.
Yeah, what if they want us to think that? What if they want us to think the whole tactic is like, Israel, get our guard down and then attack us? So after that day, it got so bad we had to load up the buses, and they said we're getting ready to do a mass exodus. Like, we already evacuated to this one part of the base, so that way they can hit the primary targets. Now we have enough intel that they are going to hit us. It's happening. Load up the buses. Our brief was all the MPs will stay on base. So I'm like, oh, so we're going to sink with the ship, right? Is basically what they told us.
Yeah.
And we're like,
Pirates of the Caribbean again.
yeah, and literally it's kind of same reference there. And so I remember like, I called Sarah, and like the time frame was like, because we're 12 hours apart and stuff. So she's about to go to bed. And it's like the morning, we're loading up these buses, and I told her, I was really quiet. So again, that kind of silence on the phone, and she's like, "What's wrong?" And I'm just like, "I hope I can call you again." That's what I told her, and she's just like, dude, she was just like tearing up. She's like, "Well, what's happening right now?" And I'm like, "We're loading up the buses for all of them to leave. We have MREs, waters, like enough supply for them to get out for like the next 3 weeks, and we're gonna stay here." And she was just like quiet on the phone. I'm like, I'm going to keep you updated. But she goes, I'm going to stay up all night for you. And I'm like, okay. I'll keep texting you and stuff. But like, we went from that sort of conflict where we're kind of like that in our relationship to where we are now. And it's like, now she gets mad if I can't come over for dinner and stuff like that. Now we're dealing with like stuff like that where it's like, it's almost comical. So like, we survived so much through that all this kind of seems easy. You know, it's, you know, we've had some harsh conversations here and there, but it's like, no, all this seems so easy now. It's like, what, she's upset I can't go to Disneyland right now. Like, those are the conversations we're having now.
Right.
And so it's like, for me, it's like, wow, like, I appreciated all the time she gave, all the care packages she sent. So it's like stuff like that. People on on their end of things don't understand how much we appreciate that. And then the one gift that was like the best of all, she sent me bum root beers, right? Because you can't get that over there. And I remember my whole team was like, bro, what are those? And I'm like, yeah, my girlfriend sent these, and they were all freaking out. They're like, do you think I can have one? I'm like, come here. I'm like, yeah. And so I shared them with everybody, and that was so cool. Like, all the little things, they add up, which is why it was like my turn to kind of spoil them when I get back. everybody I was sending like care packages to everybody. I was sending them on Amazon and stuff. My dad, I think one of the coolest things I was able to do with like obviously like the income I was making and stuff. Father's Day, my dad's birthday, almost same day. And I remember on Uber Eats, you can send anything on Uber Eats. It's so cool. I sent him like a whole bottle of Blue Label Scotch. I sent him an American Flask, and then I sent him a brand new iPhone. All to his door.
You can send an iPhone?
Yeah.
Wow.
You
Through-
not through Uber
okay, I
Eats,
was like-
but through T-Mobile. But it
Yeah.
all arrived. I planned it perfectly, and we're all arrive at the same time.
Oh, wow.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Relatively. And I was like, "Hey, Dad, like I love you. Thank you for making me the man I am to go on this deployment." And I sent him all that. Dude, my dad was in tears. My dad was just like, "Dude, like you are my pride and joy." Like, and it's so cool to have me say that for someone who said like was so anti-military at one point.
Right.
And not in the sense of like, hey, don't serve your country, but like both my grandfathers served. My parents grew up as we call it like brats, military brats, right? But they both grew up where their fathers served from World War II, and they saw the repercussions of it. They saw my mom's side, like he, incredible officer in the Navy, and had a great job and stuff. Had 10 kids, but he was silent. He was hurting. He was a functioning alcoholic and stuff. So there is like repercussions of doing all this stuff.
Right.
They didn't want to see that with me. They were like, "Hey, have a better life." And he was still. They were both great dads. Still, they were both great grandpas too. But it's there is a toll. There is always a price to pay. And on my dad's side too, he could never admit like he was proud of my dad. He was always like, "Oh, my life was harder." You know, it was that kind of bitter generation of like, "Hey, dude, I had to go to World War II. Like everything after this is easy for you guys." It's
Yeah.
like, well, not necessarily. It's like life is still hard. You know, be there for your kids, and that's what I would strive to do. You know, it's we go so they don't have to. That's ultimately the best takeaway you can take from it. It's like go out there, do it, so the next generation can have a better life.
Yeah.
But now it's turning into like where they're like, "Oh, dude, stupid. Like, why would you do that? That's like a dumb thing to go do and stuff and whatever."
But there was some meaning behind it, and and that's the if it wasn't for people that are willing to go out there like yourself and do your part and be able to serve, I mean, we wouldn't have a lot of the benefits that we have today and the freedoms that we have compared to other countries. I know there's a lot of people out there that they feel like we're still, this isn't the best country ever, but it actually is. There's a lot of things that they probably don't even see as benefits that they take it for granted.
Yeah.
Like even the freedom of speech. I mean, you go to London and you try to do a lot of the stuff that you would do here, and it would not fly. You'd get tickets. There's a lot of posts on Instagram nowadays that kind of reinforce it. But all in all, I want to. The best way to end this is to not only say thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you
much
for the
what you did.
stories because they were awesome. Thank you for the coin, and I know you even got one for Baby J, even though he's running around crawling somewhere around here. But I think I definitely want to bring you back on the podcast again, and we can have like maybe some more different stories from different people that are in the military. Maybe I can work something out like that. But
yeah, absolutely.
All in all, I mean, it's inspiring. It's awesome, and it sounds like you're a great leader, and you're gonna go great places in life, and I can't wait to see that.
Awesome, bro.
Further.
Well, thank you for having me too. Seriously.
No, I mean, like just to second what Joel said, thank you. You know, it's a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice that you made, so other people don't have to make it. And you know, I'm personally very appreciative of what you've done. Very proud to call you a friend. And yeah, I mean that's
all right. Well,
Awesome,
let's end this then.
Tilt my head in here.
Bye, everybody. I'll see you guys.
man, that was good.
That was good, guys.